I'm CTWE Wrestler the Mac.
And I'm Showtime Stevie Stamos.
Have you ever dreamed of owning your own race car and taking it out for a test drive? Well, thanks to our friends at Rent-A-Racecar, you can!
Visit www.rent-a-racecarne.com for all the details on how you can take one of these babies out to Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll see you at the races.
Touchdown!
Have you seen my kick-ass subscription box anywhere? Oh, there it is.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Vidane TV. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the booth, the production trailer, one and the same here this evening. I'm up here alongside my brother from another mother, Kevin England. Kevin, how are we feeling tonight?
Doing spectacular for a Saturday night. Looking forward to some sim racing here in the SIM500 Vidane Super Series Angry Tree Guy 150. Looking forward to this, Paul. Let's go.
Go time race number 3 here for the SIM500 Vidane SuperSpeedway Series Championship. You can see that gorgeous championship belt there. Got it in the mail a couple weeks ago before the season kicked off from Pro Amps Belts. Those guys did a phenomenal job on our now 3rd championship belt here for Vidane Racing here. And as always, we want to make sure we remember and we give the shout out over to Rent-A-Racecar, very well sponsoring the season this year. Again, for the 3rd time, the Vidane Racing SIM500 Champion will get a free street stock rental from Rent-A-Racecar, easy enough for me to say, over there at Stafford Motor Speedway. And we do want to give them a little bit of love. Rent-A-Racecar is currently booking rides for the 2021 season there at Stafford Motor Speedway in Stafford Springs, Connecticut. If you've ever wanted to try your hand at wheeling a real race car but haven't been unsure where to start, look no further. Rent-A-Racecar likes to supply an arrive and drive environment. They'll supply you everything you need for head-to-toe safety. From the helmet to the suit to the shoes, all you need to do is fit yourself into the seat, come to the track, and race. Each rental includes getting the car to the track, the crew to get you all the input you need, the gas, the tires, everything. You show up ready to rock. $650 gets you the full night of racing, from the 2 practice sessions to the heat race, right on into the feature event of the evening. You'll also be responsible for a $500 cash deposit, but if the car comes back to the pits in one piece, you get that back the very same night. Now, if $1,100 right off the rip is too steep for you, no worries at all, because Rent-A-Racecar is finally offering a monthly payment plan to all of its renters. Be sure to contact them on Facebook with any questions, and remember, it isn't a ride-along, it's a race. So we want to thank Rent-A-Racecar for coming on board as a series sponsor here once again of Vidane Racing. Longtime friends of the league, longtime friends of myself, Gary Spinato Jr. and Paul Verricchio Jr., both co-owners watching here tonight from the Rent-A-Racecar page, so we want to give them a shout out as well. But Kevin, we got 5 minutes on the clock right now for qualifying. 2 laps here at Daytona International Speedway to try and get a quick time. We're taking the top 27 quick times here from qualifying time trials, and then we're going to jump right into 2 heat races. Going to be taking the top 8 from each of those to make us a 43-lap field, a 43-car field.
Yeah, these drivers for sure want to get the best qualifying lap going. They know that it gets very risky no matter how good you are to run those heat races. So you need to really book a good time here in qualifying and get that out of the way. But if not, then you got to go fight your way, claw your way through. We've seen some really challenging heat races for these guys in the Saturday night series. We're running the Xfinity sim tonight here at Daytona, and the car drives a little bit differently than what they've been used to. They've run the 87. They're going to run the trucks. They're going to run the car of tomorrow sim and other things, but tonight it's the Xfinity ride, Paul, and doesn't have a lot of power, this particular car in the draft. So you really need to pick and choose your lanes and get yourself forward here.
You're really going to be able to see a lot of the unofficial teammates working together here, SuperSpeedway racing. We watched a lot of pack racing, a little bit of practice we had here tonight, a little bit of a, we can call it a rain delay with the practice this evening, but this is the 3rd car in the rotation, 3rd different car. We've had 2 different winners already, Gabe Butler winning the season opener, and Stephen Mariak winning the last race we ran 2 weeks ago. We were off last weekend for Thanksgiving, so we hope everybody had a nice, safe, and healthy holiday, and we're glad to have you back here on Vidane TV. And Wesley Hogue, again, leading the championship points, the 3rd season in a row that he's led the points going into, well, at one point or another, so definitely not a stranger to the pressure that kind of brings it in. Well, actually, we got a few minutes here. Well, we don't want to do that because we actually got drivers on track for qualifying, but pretty cool to see these guys racing. After the first 2 starts, we've had at least 55, 60 drivers start at least one race, so very cool little deal we've got going on here, rotating cars, rotating tracks, and very exciting news for me, Kevin. A lot of our sim members that have been around for a long time saw a little teaser video on iRacing social media, both Twitter and Facebook. They're getting ready to release Coca-Cola SuperSpeedway, which was essentially a fantasy superspeedway track. I think it was 3.5 miles long over on the Papyrus NASCAR Racing 2003 season. They're getting ready to release that over on iRacing. So very exciting news. We'll actually be racing the season championship there as long as it comes out in time.
I do remember back in the day racing the Coca-Cola Speedway. I'm curious to see whether it's the same track or something a little bit different. Yeah, that track was rather interesting to race with the super high banking. It was a lot of fun, and I'm curious to see what it's going to look like when it comes out here on the surface.
For sure. Just getting ready to wrap up. Got about 2 minutes left in qualifying. Taking a look right now. It's usually pretty tough to call who's on the pole, but right now it's showing Kevin Fries in number 25. Last lap, well, just as I say that, Tommy Ryan up top with the quick time so far, a 50.550. Randy Yoakum right next to him in that number 8 machine. Guys still working on finishing up their laps too, so taking a look, Kevin, I'm seeing, looks like we got 48 drivers that are registered for this race here. 45 have taken a lap so far. You can see right now Keith Haney, Jonathan Goke, Brendan Browning, the 3 drivers to not take times just yet. But we're seeing these guys are starting to rack up those qualifying times. About 60 seconds left to go here in this qualifying session. Again, we're taking the top 27 drivers on time. We'll run through that quick list here once we get it wrapped up. And then we're going to be taking 8 from each of 2 SuperSpeedway or 2 heat races. So getting ready to get the green flag flying in the air for heat race number 1 here momentarily, Kevin.
Yeah, and we see some familiar names here, SIM500 and Vidane Racing Series veterans, if you want to call it that. Tommy Ryan, Josh Parker, I see Randy Yoakum in there, Bobby Wetzel, Jeff Ryan. Always going to see Chad Coleman in there in the number 38, Daniel Falkingham, Kevin Brown, EJ O'Rourke. So stout field here tonight, and we're looking down in the bottom, quite a few drivers that we recognize too. Look like yeah, they're going to have to run the heat races tonight. We're talking about Richard Beasley and Anthony Bello, Jonathan Goke. So far, they still haven't run times, so we'll see how that pans out. But it should be a fun night of racing here at Daytona.
Yeah, defending race champion Jared Bolliard, he's going to have to race his way through the points, through the heat races as well here. Getting ready, getting the cars lined up on pit road. And we're going to take a look at the starting lineup here. Looking like driver number 1 here for heat race number 1 is going to be the number 78 of David Duke. Outside of him is going to be Bill Schnuver in the 09 car.
Jason Nethery in the 34 starts right behind Schoonover in 3rd position. Jamie Coleman in the number 11 is going to start 4th.
The champ is here, starting P5 in heat race number 1, the number 78, Jared Bolliard. Outside of him is going to be the number 98 car, Steve Herring.
Row 4 consists of Bruce Lee Weaver in the number 40, and Matt Zaccardo in the number 60 is on his outside.
John Wilco going to be starting P9 in the number 62 machine, and the 88 of Parker Parrish, he's going to start P10.
2 drivers didn't take time. They're going to run from the back here. 11th starting spot for Jonathan Goki, and Brandon Browning in the number 18 will start in that 12th and final starting spot.
So it looks like 12 drivers making the call here this afternoon, this evening. There you see the number 78 car, David Duke, on your screen. Going to be taking the top 8 here, and we got to remember one thing we messed up a couple of weeks ago when we opened the series. No cautions here in the heat races, so straight up heads up racing. If somebody spins out a 1-car incident or anything along those lines, we stay green. All the drivers keep going, and essentially a little bit of a battle of attrition here to try and make the big show here later on tonight.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. If you're running this race, you need to go forward, but you need not crash, because if you crash, unless cars in front of you crash and open up the opportunity to drive past them and get into that qualifying spot, which in super speedway racing can happen, you're going to find yourself having to be patiently aggressive. Is that possible, Paul?
We try to make up things to explain just how these drivers are able to get down with this, and you're patiently aggressive is a good way to put it, because it's really tough to know what the track's going to do, what the car's going to do, how the setup's going to react. Multiply that by 55, because there's 55 different drivers that are signed up for this event. Right now, we've only got 12 cars on track for the heat race, so it's a good opportunity to maybe feel the car out and feel out some of the drivers, but a lot of unknowns in the super speedway racing, and that's one of the reasons we like doing that here at Vidane Racing SIM500 and here on Vidane TV.
Pretty stout cars in the 4th and 5th position. Coleman and Bolliard, both of them are obviously veterans of this series and know how to get the job done, run consistently up front on any given night, and here they are in the heat races. So, sometimes the forte is not qualifying, but get them in the race and they're going to run just fine.
Yeah, I talked to Jared almost every race here, because he and I have built up a little bit of a friendship, because he's run with Vidane so long as the pace car dips off. Very nervous every week as he comes in here, because he's not a very strong qualifier. Green flag in the air. Everybody going to jam on through the gears. These cars are nice and slow, so it's a good, solid start here. The 78's got a little bit of an advantage as they head on down into turn number 1, but don't look now. The 11 starting to close up on the bumper of the 09 to see if he can get Schnuver up to that P1 position.
Yeah, Nethery in the 34, second car on the inside, right tucked into David Duke, trying to push him off the corner to the front stretch and give him an advantage. The outside line, though, has some momentum, and here comes the 09 of Schoonover. Schoonover is going to pull nose to nose and possibly ahead as we go down the back straightaway for the first time into the corner. The 34 slips up a little bit off the line, but now he's going to come down, tuck behind your leader. And the inside line seems to be prevailing as they come off the corner.
Everybody had the week off of the Thanksgiving holiday last week. You got to wonder, did anybody practice last week? Or did we just kind of hang out with family and friends and get down with some turkey and some ham, maybe a little bit of lasagna, some wobbly pops, as they call it, north of the wall there, our Canadian friends. Shout out to anybody that may be watching from up there. But great pushing from the inside, the number 34 car, Jason Nethery, doing a great job pushing the number 78, keeping him right on his back bumper. You can see a little bit of a wiggle there, but that Mobile 1 car jumping on the outside there, that's going to be the number 79. Defending reigning champion Jared Bolliard has a great run, moves it up onto the middle. He's going to lead that outside line, try and get some help there from the 09 car.
You saw the 24 of Jonathan Goke come up through the middle. He made a little bit of contact with the car behind him, and Steve Herring went up, brushed the wall, right side damage on that Popeye's Camaro, and he's going to drop to the back with a little right side damage. We can see the spoiler, and well, we also see the 88 of Parker Parrish on pit road with damage.
Yeah, really good looking Dale Earnhardt Jr. throwback paint scheme with some Jeff Gordon sponsorships. Kind of cool to see that. And you saw the Pepsi machine of Jonathan Goke as well. One of my favorite paint schemes. I'm a Rainbow Warrior fan myself, so pretty cool to see the throwback paint schemes on some of these drivers. But back out front, still the 78, the David Duke show, getting a little bit of help there from the number 34, Jason Nethery. And you can see the top 5, 6, 7 cars lined right up there. You gotta wonder if those guys are going to try and just hang on and see if they can maybe hold on to the transfer position. There you see the top 7 lined up, bumper to bumper to bumper. Jonathan Goke dipping out on the outside there to get some air to the front bumper.
You're not sure what's going on with the 62 car, the John Wilco machine. He's slow off that corner last time by, and he dropped back a little bit. He's paired up with the 98, who we just said has a little damage. Two of them running nose to tail to look to see whether they can close in on that front group. The driver in the back there is Zicardo in the number 60. He's trying to hunt that low line, but also come up, look to the outside, because the 24 of Goke, he's coming forward on the outside line.
Zicardo's in a really tough spot. Oh, trouble. 20 cars around. The 09 off the front of the bumper there. That's going to be big news for the number 20 machine. Sends him around, and a couple of other cars. We can get the camera angle to change up here. See, it's going to be the 18 car in the timing and scoring. Number 20 car, the Dollar General machine on your screen. Tough break. He gets the car going, but he's outside of the draft. 09's got some big dime damage as well. There you see the number 11. He had a little bit of damage, but he gets by scot-free. He's still barely got the draft of this lead pack. So you can see we've got 2 cars back here, the 7th and 8th position, and it looks like the top 6 are still up in that front pack. Kind of not really working together, just biding their time, trying to essentially make it through without any kind of problems here, because they know they've got a pretty big advantage to try and race their way into the Angry Tree Guy 150 here later on tonight.
Yeah, now we take a look at Wilco in the number 62 and the 98 of Steve Herring. They've got on the back bumper the 11 of Jimmy Coleman. Coleman is the odd man out right now, and I got a feel for Bill Schoonover. He just cannot catch a break. He's trying to just ride patiently and gets caught up with the number 20, and he's got damage off the pace. So we'll keep an eye on these 3 for that transfer position.
For sure, and I can definitely feel for Schoonover, because I've been in that position myself here at Vidane Racing, way back, stepping in the Wayback Machine, if you will, back in Season 3, the first season. Kevin, you were there, back in the RLM days, RLM TV days. We had 90 guys, 80 guys, 100 guys showing up to qualify for 43 spots, and we had a 6-race season that season, and I made 3 of the races. The league co-founder and at the time vice president, I only made half the races, so definitely a high level of competition, especially this year when we're hooking up with SIM500, and we've got a lot of sending leagues as well. Tim's Corner Motorsports, New England, Pennsylvania, iRacing Group, East Coast Winter League, all those guys, RBR Maritime Group, a lot of guys sending in some talented drivers, so lots of talent from lots of different racing styles here at the SIM500 Vidane Racing SuperSpeedway Series, Kevin.
Yeah, those were fun times back then, and you know, carrying on the tradition here with Vidane TV, just enjoying these races. As up front, it continues to be David Duke leading. He's led every lap from the green. Jason Nethery, Bruce Lee Weaver, and Jarrett Bulliard comfortably sitting there as that top group. All they got to do is be nose to tail, and they'll be in the big show. It's that tussle back there. I saw the 11 of Jimmy Coleman go to the outside, but he doesn't look like he's getting any help there, as the 2 cars in front of him look to be locked in. The 20 or the 62 and the 98 seem to be working together. The 11's got to break them up.
Yeah, the 11's in a really tough position, because a little bit of a wiggle there from the number 62 John Wilco machine. Doesn't look like any kind of harm there, but 11's in a really tough spot because he knows the 98 and the 62 are going to be working together to try and hold on to that top 8 position. They may not very well be teammates, but they both know that only 8 cars are making it to the main show here tonight.
They're going to come up across a crippled car of the number 20. This might be an opportunity for the 11 to make a move. They're going to go high as the 20 car way off the pace. 11 comes down, pulls a little bit of a draft. 62 had a pretty big wiggle. If I'm the 11 car, I'm looking to see if I could lag back a little bit, get a good run, and possibly get down underneath that 62 if he breaks free.
For sure. He's really only got to get around one of these cars, but he would definitely put himself in a better position if he was able to get in front of both of these cars. But that's going to be tough to do. You can see those two cars are hooked up bumper to bumper, really doing a great job trying to pull away from that number 11 car. And at this point, you're kind of waiting for the front 6 drivers. Maybe somebody up there will make a mistake. Same deal for, looks like the 18 of Brendan Bowning is done, and Parker Parrish is still on pit road as well. So he has currently scored 8 laps down. But it's gonna take somebody making a mistake here, I think, for Jimmy Coleman, the number 11 car, or the 09 Bill Schoonover to get in there. Shout out to Chris Owen for giving us the proper pronunciation there in the YouTube chat. Appreciate that. Gotta thank a lot of our fans for keeping us on our toes, because, well, it's late. Let's be honest. It's way past my bedtime, and I know it's past your bedtime here too, Kevin, but still getting down with the action here. The SIM500 Vidane SuperSpeedway Series.
You know, we thought maybe these guys up front would ride. No, of course not. Bruce Lee Weaver, who was running second, he's in the back of that pack now as they're racing side by side up there for the second position. The number 78, David Duke, got past. It is Jason Nethery in the lead. And, you know, if I'm one of those guys out there, say the 11 of Jimmy Coleman, I like to see this. I'm hoping these guys mix it up. Somebody turns sideways and opens the door for me to step into the feature tonight.
You always got to wonder when these drivers are going to come up and say that it's go time, and it looks like 5 to go means go time. And you can see right now the champ up front, 78. Down there, Vidane OG Racing Crew is the team name they decided to go with. They are, that's going to be the 79 of Jarrett Bolliard, the 24 of Jonathan Goke. Their teammate, who looks like he's going to be in heat race number 2, Rowdy Wesley Hogue, the current points leader, and doing a great job. These guys pushing on the outside, 3 cars there, trying to get out in front. You can see the third car in line kind of dips back down to the low side. Everybody so far in this front pack in the show just going for bragging rights, trying to see if they can't get a heat race victory.
Well, they're running side by side. You see Jimmy Coleman. He was able to draw alongside the 62. He actually got to the door of the 98 trying to wrestle that last qualifying spot away. He's running side by side right now with the number 62, John Wilco, but he's starting to fade back a little bit. He's got no help in the back, and with those two locked nose to tail, that outside lane is the long way around.
You're absolutely right. You can see both of these guys shooting back at the pack just a little bit. Figure they're going to cool the cars off just a little bit. Maybe try and get a run, see if they can move up towards the front. Now you're seeing a lot of weaving and bobbing at this point. A lot of aggressive driving, a lot of aggressive pushing there we saw from the number 78. These guys are going to try and get the best they can here. 2 laps to go as they cross the stripe. You can see that lap car again coming into the picture. I believe that's going to be the 09 of Schoonover. So he's... looks like he's going to be out of the big show here, the Angry Tree Guy 150 at Daytona. But this is definitely going to be entertaining because about a lap and a half to go as we come up to the backstretch here, Kevin. And these two OG Vidane crew guys, they've backed way off, and you can see they're going to be able to close in on this front pack in a big way here on this last lap. So you can see already taking a look up high is Jarrett Bolliard. We're going to see what these two guys are going to do coming to the final lap.
Yeah, it'll tell the tale whether they were hanging back just so they didn't get caught up in a crash and have the ability to drive out, or whether they were trying to drive their way forward to team up on these guys. I'm still keeping an eye on that battle back there for that final spot. Here comes the 11 of Jimmy Coleman, draws alongside the 62. He's also to the door one more time of the 98, running side by side as they come off the corner. He's got a huge run. Can he get to it and close that position down? I don't know. That outside lane just is not able to give him the momentum he needs.
Really hoping he can get himself some help on the outside with one of the other cars that's in there, but we're taking a look back up front. Coming into turn number 3, as we can see Jason Nethery up front with the 78. Big push there. Zaccardo up front, Lee Weaver in the number 40 car as well. And you can see the OG Vidane guys just kind of hanging back. So, yep, we'll take the top 8. We're going to head into the main show here tonight. So those guys are all in the show back here. Going to see these 3 cars. 2 of them are going to make the show. Huge run on the outside for the number 11. He gets blocked by that front car, and you can see right now not going to be able to get it done. gets up to the back bumper of the 62 machine of Wilco, but does not get it done. That number 11 car won't make the show here tonight. Tough break there, but on to heat race number 2 here, Kevin.
It was an interesting strategy. The front car pulled up to block any momentum that the back car, and just assured that the 62 got in. I don't know whether they're teammates or whether they just rode together and worked together so much that they protected each other, but that's going to leave the 11 car sitting out. On to heat race number 2. We'll bring you the lineup on the front pole. Chris Givo in the number 6. On his outside, it'll be Eric Laurie in the number 69.
Gail Brooks going to be starting P3 in the number 71 machine, and outside of row number 2, James Haney in the number 55.
Fifth starting spot for the 5 of Matthew Baker, and on his outside, Brian Abbott in the 82. He'll start out outside row 3, 6th starting spot for Abbott.
Connecticut's own Kyle Casagrande in the number 7. He's going to match his starting position with his car number. He's going to be starting P7. Richard Beasley on his outside with that Tide machine, hoping for a nice clean race there, Kevin. Ha-ha, Richard Beasley, number 10, P8.
9th starting spot for Matt Egan in the 02, and Ken Zeems is starting 10th. He did not take time, so he's going to start in the back. And, you know, the final position is also another driver that did not take time, the 51 of Anthony Bello.
I love seeing that O2 paint scheme there, the Me-sponsored ride. Always looking for sponsorships is Matt Egan and everybody here at Vidane Racing. But speaking of teammates earlier on here, Rowdy Wesley Hogue has made his way up here to the production booth because, well, he's got a key. He does kind of work here. Man, you saw the heat race number 1. Both your teammates, Jonathan Goke and the champ, Jarrett Bolliard, made it into the race. I believe you qualified in on time. I didn't quite see the qualifying results, but we don't see you here in heat race number 2, Wes.
Hey guys, good to hear to talk to you. That is correct. I did make it in on time. I'm not really good at this whole qualifying thing here, Paul, but qualifying means a lot here at the SIM500, and I have to definitely brush up in it. But I'm always getting in by the skin of my teeth. But that's still getting in. So yeah, man, we got a long race here in front of us. I'm excited to be a part of it. Excited to go into this with an early shot at the points lead here, only leading by a slim margin, but ready to rock and roll here, Paul. Not really feeling up to par, a little under the weather, but see if we can give it a go.
Yeah, 8 points is the difference between Wes Hogue and the second place, last week's winner, and we're seeing these guys already getting broken up. A lot of guys down on the bottom side. Feel free to stick around for the call here for the heat race, Wes, if you'd like. But if I know if you've got to get yourself down into the car, get ready there too. We know you got a little bit of a lucky T-shirt that finally came in the mail today after what, 2 years?
I still got to post a picture of it, man. But yeah, something that I'm able to learn watching these races. Be able to look on that high side. That high side is going to be a lane that is hard to get going, but if you get enough momentum, it can be competitive. But it's hard for only 2 or 3 cars to hop up there and really make a run at it, as you're seeing here in this second heat. I've seen a couple different drivers jump up there, Anthony Bello being one of them, along with Richard Beasley, trying to get that high side going and lock them into the big show.
Yeah, we saw the number 11 car, Jimmy Coleman, try and race his way into that very first heat race of the evening, and unfortunately it was 2-1, and you can see just how strong 2 cars on the outside, how much faster they are than just 1 car on the outside, and you can see that here we're about evenly matched. Looks like there's 5 cars on the inside, maybe 6 cars on the outside, and it's so far bumper to bumper with the number 69 car, nice, outside, leading that outside lane.
Big winner there by that 5 machine, Matthew Barker. But I'll tell you what, these little 14-lap races, they are a handful. You got a long way to go in a short time to get there. And speaking of that, I got a long way to go back down to my race car and a short time to get there, boys. Have a wonderful show. Hopefully we'll get to talk to you some point in the race or in a top 3 podium.
Absolutely. Good luck, Wes. That's Rowdy Wesley Hogue, current points leader here at the SIM500 Vidane Racing SuperSpeedway. You might recognize the voice, well, because he's one of the founders here at Vidane TV. He and I got together back in March and put this deal together. Kyle Young jumped on, Kevin England jumped on, and, well, the rest is history. But great racing here, lap number 3 for heat race number 2 here for the Angry Tree Guy 150 at Daytona. Everybody still up in this front pack, all 11 starters. Again, we're taking the top 8 to the main show here, and, well, then 10 laps.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on these cars. They're wiggling, wobbling all over the place going down the straightaway. Just hoping that they are not going to make contact. Everybody out in the back hoping for some way to get forward. The only car that's come forward so far is Anthony Bello in the 51. He started in the 11th spot. He's up to 9th, but first through 8th, they're pretty much the cars that started up there. They've swapped a couple positions, but yeah, just door to door all the way around this racetrack.
Playing chess at 200 miles an hour here, Kevin. That's what we're doing in the iRacing simulations here on Vidane TV. There you see that 02 car jumps from the outside to the inside, and let's gonna take a look there. The number 7 car come down as well. It's gonna be Kyle Casagrande. Looks like it's well, he's in the Trojan machine. It's a cool looking sponsorship there. Cool looking race car there as well. Looks almost looks like an old Miller Genuine Draft kind of paint scheme. So kind of a neat little mashup there. I'm kind of digging that. But it's chess at 200 miles an hour here at Daytona International Speedway, as it always is with these super speedway races. Anything you do on lap 2 or 3, sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't at the very end of the race. You got to kind of work with these guys, work against them a little bit, try and find somebody that has the same goal, but they aren't trying to be in the same position as you. And that's a lot of challenges to try and deal with all at once here.
Yeah, and you see these drivers, they're switching lanes, they're moving back and forth. The one car, Ken Zeems,
51 in the wall,
just hanging himself back a little bit right now. I think he's looking to see if there's any trouble, and maybe he can scoot himself through. And well, he just found one position. The 51 got a little bit high and is going to drop off this pack out to the back. Hopefully the 51 can pick up the draft and come back through, but he was coming forward. Now he's going backwards.
Yeah, he's in a good spot right now. It doesn't look like there's any major damage there, and it looks like he's just got the tail end of the draft hanging on for dear life off the bumper of the number 60 machine. Check that, the number 90 machine there of Ken Zeems. So good news there is, he's kind of given himself an opportunity to lag back just a little bit, regather his thoughts, and try and get back up there and back up front. See number 69, Eric Lurie, he's leading on the outside. Brian Abbott, number 82, he's on the outside, and Richard Beasley, second place car there on the outside line, currently running P4.
He's having a clean race so far, Richard Beasley. He wants to get himself in. And that top line, they need to have all those cars enabled to be competitive. And so far, they've done a really good job at keeping pace with the cars on the inside.
Yeah, whenever you see an equal amount of cars inside outside here at Daytona, it's tough to see, especially with these Xfinity cars, because they don't quite have as much power as, say, the Cup cars. But it's tough to see because a lot of times you're going to need more cars on that outside to try and get lined up bumper to bumper. And these guys doing a great job here. Not really pushing the issue. We're only on lap 7 here, the heat race. And these guys know that the top 8 are going to be able to make it here. A little bit different scenario in this second heat race as the first, because the first, we had 6 guys up in the main pack. And they were just kind of racing nice and easy, doing a little bit of practice with their drafting and trying to learn how everybody else is going. You see the 10 taking a peek on the outside there from Richard Beasley. This one, we've got about 10 drivers that are still in this lead pack. You can see the 6 car. Oh, big trouble in the back as I say that. The 02 is involved. Lots of cars involved, and it looks like Beasley gets by. The 69 gets by. Eric Lurie gets by. Casagrande gets by. Everybody else caught up in this wreck. You see the 71 makes it by as well. Here's the 02. He's currently running 6th. That's going to be Matt Egan. Ken Zeems, he's involved. He's still technically in the show. He's P7. There you see big damage there for the number 51. He was involved in that as well. See the 5 car as well. Big time front end damage. A lot of nose damage on these cars right now. Here you see Chris Caboo, number 6. He's already down on pit road. So big, tough break for these guys in the back of the pack. Great show there up towards the top of the top of the scoring board. The top 5 guys pretty much just have to ride around here and make the show here tonight.
Yeah, a couple of interesting rides for some of those drivers. Matt Egan, he did okay. Got the car sideways, went down. Maybe the splitter hit the track, but then he hit one of those culverts over there in turn 2. The car jumped up and really destroyed it. The 55 is hammered. And I was watching the 51. He was way off the pace, and he still got to the track. It was blocked and piled in. So bad to worse for the 51 is quite a bit of damage for several of those cars over there.
For sure, but we're taking a look right now. You can see Kyle Casagrande making a move to the outside. He's going to lead that lap as he gets around Richard Beasley. Getting a little bit of help there from the number 71 of Gale Brooks, pushing that number 7 Trojan car all the way up to the P1 spot. He's going to take the number 2 hole as well.
Yeah, they tuck in nose to tail on that front group, and as we look at everybody else, they're just kind of trying to nurse it along and see if they can get themselves through. We know the car out early in the first heat race blew the motor after having some damage, and I see the 51 running down the backstretch really slow. The car looks off the pace. I'm not sure if he's going to make it to the finish.
He's doing his best right now. All he has to do is hang on to the position that's right behind him. He's doing a little bit of drafting there with the number 90 of Ken Zeems. And he's got a 17-second gap between him and the 9th place car. You can see the 80 trying to get as much air to that car as he can, but there you see who he's trying to beat, and you can see it looks like he put about a second. So it's there you see the 55. The pack is coming up in a hurry. The leader's coming up behind him. These guys are going to blow right by him as hopefully he picks a lane and gets on by. It looks like no harm, no foul. The leader's able to get by on that inside line. The leader now, Gale Brooks, number 71.
Yeah, the 55 is absolutely destroyed. The front of the car is gone. The back of the car is gone. He, too, has to hope that somebody's going to have some troubles. But out front, how about the moves for Beasley? He's been able to shake off that outside lane, get down in there, tucked right in behind, looking for opportunity to come for the win and see if he can get himself a starting spot in tonight's main event.
Trying to find their way into the main event here tonight, trying to find their way into the championship Final Four here in a couple of months to find out who is going to be coming home with that glorious, glorious Pro-Am belt, custom championship belt. I'm telling you, Kevin, I slung that thing over my shoulder down there at the Angry Tree Guy bar, looked in the mirror, was like, man, well, I'm an ugly fella, but man, that championship belt is gorgeous.
I see Casagrande on the outside. He was odd man out before that crash, and now he's just sitting there, and I think he's going to try, like Kyle always does, to see if he can get himself for a win. He's not going to be content to ride there, but he's got to be happy that these guys have broken away. That these drivers that just know that they have to make it to the finish.
Kind of the odd man out here, Kyle Casagrande is in this series. He's coming from the NEPS guys, the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Series, and they race with us pretty much weekly here on Vidane TV, the second season here with us. And you usually see Casagrande on the short tracks. As we're actually looking over, it looks like the 51 is retired from the race. That car has expired, so James Haney, the 55, move him into that transfer spot in the 8th position as we get around the number 90 car of Ken Zeems, who's big-time damage from that wreck earlier on tonight. But Kyle usually comes with the short track, and, well, there's a lot of trash talk that happens on Twitter between those guys. They're actually the reason Vidane TV is back on Twitter, so check us out at Vidane TV and join the conversation. But pretty cool to see a short track racer mixing it up here at the SuperSpeedways. We usually see Kyle up towards the front of the pack in the big shows here, and you can see he's trying to push the green car up towards the front. That's going to be Brian Abbott, the number 82 machine. Let's see if we can push him to the win out in the outside line.
Yeah, they have a great run with huge momentum going down the back straightaway. Both of them have pretty much cleared the inside line. Can Casagrande get down, and will Abbott leave him or stay with him? So far, Abbott stays in that high line as the inside lane now has to surge down through the corner. Coming out of the banking, they roll out. They stay together. Casagrande, this is where you make friends for later, Paul. If you stay with someone, then you signal that you're loyal, and maybe in the race, that's going to pay off for you.
Absolutely, and we saw some great, clean racing there. A lot of drivers back and forth over the back bumpers of each other, so those five are in the race. Brooks, Beasley, Abbott, Laurie, Casagrande, Matt Egan. You're seeing him in the number 02 machine. He's going to cross the line, it looks like, in the 6th position, so great news for him. And we're going to see, it looks like Kenny Zeems in the number 90 and the number 55. Ken Zeems is actually under power. Is he going to make it to the show? And there you see the 55. He's going to be coming to the stripe in the 7th position. So great run for these guys. Congratulations to Gale Brooks, heat race number 2 winner here tonight. Well, it's big show racing time here, Kevin.
It is just hard to believe that 55 is going to make the show. They're going to have to bring the backup out for the feature because that thing is absolutely destroyed.
For sure, but we got about 5 minutes here to warm up these drivers up. Gives us a quick opportunity to check out the national anthem. Some beautiful guitar work there from the SIM500's own member, Jason Barham, there for the national anthem, so we appreciate that. Back here at Daytona International Speedway, the SIM500 Vidane Racing SuperSpeedway Series for the Angry Tree Guy 150. About 2.5 minutes left in the warm-up. Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. here with Kevin England up in the broadcast booth.
Now we get to take a peek at some of those cars that came through qualifying, and we did not see them in a heat race, see what kind of car they have. We see a couple drivers testing the entry to pit road, just making sure they get their tachometers right, and a couple drivers are also in that draft, just feeling how the car is going to shake up, warming up those engines, getting ready for the main event here tonight. Should be a good race. We'll take all those drivers that qualified and bring them in, and unfortunately a couple of them going to the house. We can tell you that. Parker Parrish with the expired motor, he didn't make it. Bill Scootover, Matthew Baker, Brandon Browning, Jimmy Coleman, Anthony Bello, and Chris Gibbu did not make the show here tonight, and they'll have to come back next week for our run. Where are we running next week, Paul?
Talladega next week. Talladega, I believe that's going to be the old Cup car without the restrictor plate.
Lakadakadakadagia. Isn't that what they call it?
Somebody calls it that, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see these drivers come out and run this warm-up, so to speak. What do you think they're getting out of it? We talked about some of the pit entry stuff. Do you think they're trying to find their teammates and just get a little shakedown, get their rust off, get ready for this main event?
Well, I think you hit it right on the head, Kevin. The pit stops, you can see these drivers they're going out, they're running a couple of quick laps. They're already qualified for the show, so they don't have to worry about the qualifying efforts from earlier on, but these guys are practicing pit stops. The very first race here of the season, we went 56 laps green flag. We ended up having 2 cycles of green flag pit stops, and we had some great green flag racing here the last time we were on track with the 87 Cup cars, and those cars are an absolute handle. So these guys know that this race is going to be won or lost on pit road, because more than likely with the talent of these drivers, we're going to be racing here and pitting under green, and you can see just almost half the field either coming into pit road or leaving pit road, and they're just working on the entry, working on the exit, making sure that they can really capitalize and gain as much time as they possibly can on or off pit road.
Yeah, they're also looking to see if they can find their pit stalls, find their pit boards, see what it looks like as they pull through. And you know, you have to talk about this racetrack. It's a Mecca racetrack, and this is the modern version of the track, and when we see these drivers run here, they have to have some relief that we're not running the older version. The track is fairly smooth. 31 degrees of banking going into the corner. The car kind of sticks. It doesn't wash up like the other track. You're not running through those bumps with the legacy track. And then you have that back straightaway, 3,000 feet, front straights, 3,800 with the dog leg. Had plenty of racing room. You could run 2, 3, sometimes 4 wide here at Daytona. And it's not so much one of those track position tracks. If you make the right moves, if you're looking for the right shots and you move yourself forward, you can get through this pack even starting from the back. You have no idea who's going to end up winning.
We had that happen in a couple of SIM500 races here on Vidane TV. We had a couple of races where the lights went out. We had a couple of races where we really didn't even know who was going to win until right up until that start-finish line. So, yes, we know it's late. It's after 11 here on the East Coast, but definitely stick with us here at Vidane TV because we can promise you will be entertained. But starting up front, number 99, I believe he's been up there before. Tommy Ryan's going to start here tonight on the pole, and outside of him, that number 23, don't call it a Kyle Busch scheme. That's a Bobby Labonte paint scheme there in the 23. Josh Parker starting on the outside.
Row 2, Raymond Rittenauer II. He's going to start that number 87 in the 3rd position, and Randy Yoakum in the number 8 will start 4th.
Shout out to Randy Yoakum, one of the admins here, the SIM500 Vidane Racing Super Speedway League, getting things taken care of here before the race. A little bit of a server glitch, but we got her taken care of. And also shout out to Joey Cattina, who's out of town this weekend, but couldn't have done it without you guys. Right behind those guys, Bobby Wetzel, the number 9, he's going to be starting 5th, and Jeff Ryan, the number 3, starting outside of him.
Kevin Freese, he had a good run in one of the races. The number 25 starts in that 7th position and always up to the front somewhere during the race. 38 of Chad Coleman He starts in 8th.
Yeah, Chad Coleman could probably drive in a dump truck series and do very well. Does a great job there. And another quick driver, Brian Macklin, he's going to be starting P9 in that 30 ride. And Jose Gonzalez, number 26, he's going to be rounding out the top 10.
Thomas O'Leary, the 4th, starts to 08 in that 11th position. 12th for Gabe Butler in the number 1.
Quick driver, number 39, Daniel Falkingham, he's going to start 13th. And outside of him, the number 54 of Travis Termeyer.
Row 8, 15th starting spot for Kevin Brown in the 93. On the outside, E.J. O'Rourke in the number 41.
P18, the 81, Keith Haney. Outside of him is going to be Rich Jett in that number 36.
Mitchell Hunt in the 77 starts in that 20th starting spot. 21st for Glenn Campbell in the number 44.
Brad Bothwell going to start number 22, the 28 machine starting 22nd. Wes Hogue, we talked to him before the race. He's going to start 23rd. Lights are off in the pace car, Kevin. I believe we're getting ready to go green.
Pace car is going to hook left. You can see the rest of the starters as it's going to be in the hands of Tommy Ryan and Josh Parker. Ryan comes up across the start-finish line. He's going to start race lap number 1, coming up through the gears, heading off to turn number 1. He's got a good push from behind in the number 9 of Bobby Wetzel as they go into the banking for the first time.
Gotta love these Xfinity cars. It takes them a long time to get up to speed, and these drivers know it. They're not trying to push the issue too early here. A lot of side-by-side racing so far. Just trying to get up to the gears, get the tires warmed up, get everything brushed off of the bottom side of those tires to try and get up towards the front. A couple of drivers missing the start, it looks like, coming back out. Going to bide their time just a little bit in the back of the pack, but still side-by-side up front as we head down into the 3.
Ryan's car took off to the outside coming out of turn number 2, and that was able to open the door. He's got Josh Parker right behind him, but out front it was the number 9 of Bobby Wetzel taking advantage of that. He's going to lead lap number 1, and, well, didn't take long. Macklin jumps to the outside. He's going to challenge him for the lead as they go into the banking one more time.
Seeing some colors there, number 30 ride for Brian Macklin, as we saw a few nights ago in the SIM500 Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Classic Cup Series, a little sponsor edition there, it looks like, for Brian Macklin, and he's running up front, been running up front pretty much everywhere he runs here in the SIM500, and where we've seen him here on Vidane TV. I've known Brian a long time. He's great on these SuperSpeedway races. Used to race with him back in the FTSR days. Those guys are still running strong. I haven't run with them in a couple of years, but great to see that Macklin's still up front. A 9-car shooting on the outside, trying to take that position away. See if Bobby Wetzel can hold on to the outside line.
Side by side all the way through the pack. Everybody just kind of settling in. This is where the nerves come up. You're just trying to get that feel of how much spacing you need for the car in front of you. You're looking in your rearview mirror at the car behind you, trying to make sure you don't get run over. And everybody just kind of pacing themselves. Is no surprise, one of the top movers already is the 39 of Daniel Falkingham. He started 13th. He's up to the 5th position.
Almost looks like an old, I want to say it's like a Brian Vickers kind of throwback Hendrick paint scheme there. I may be completely wrong on that on number 39, but doing a great job as he always does. Nice smooth racer. You can see you're holding on pretty good to the top 6 position on the inside of Josh Parker there in the green number 23 machine. Josh holding on to the 5th place as well. So great racing up front. Everybody just kind of giving each other some room. Lap 4, it's a long race. They know we're going to have at least a couple of pit stops, whether it be under caution or green flag here, Kevin.
Yes, 60 laps the distance. We're working lap number 4, as you just said, and everybody just kind of settling in. You see one car jumps to the outside to see if he can make the run. Who is it? Of course, E.J. O'Rourke. Not content to sit there and ride. He's like Kyle Busch sometimes. He's just going to keep trying to plug his way forward. He's up to the 10th position, sitting up in that high line, coming off the corner. They're going to squeeze a little bit, but he doesn't have much help out there. He's going to end up dropping back.
E.J. O'Rourke, like a bullet shot out of a really, really big gun. Always fast, no matter what he races here in the iRacing simulation. A lot of contacts, a lot of big fights he's been in. Big fights, big races, things like that. Big racing series. EJ's fast wherever he goes. And a lot of these guys know him, and a lot of guys want to work with him, but a lot of guys want to make sure that they beat the name as well. So always one of the cool things here at Vidane Racing. A lot of big-time drivers inside and outside all the way around. As we can see, we're 3 wide right now for that third row. 39 Falkingham, Tommy Ryan's on the 99, Josh Parker on the outside, and it looks like EJ's going to jump up there with Parker as well. You see the 93, that's going to be Kevin Brown that's up there. He thinks better of it, dips on down to the inside line, the middle line, but, well, it looks like we're starting to get a third groove work there, Kevin.
Yeah, the 3x3x3, the outside lane was occupied there with, well, Kevin Brown. I thought he was the yin to the yang for the EJ O'Rourke car, but looking up there, Ryan's come to the outside, and so has, well, I got my eyes closed. So I see them wiggle around. Parker and Ryan working together. I think that outline, if they stay outside lane, if they stay tucked nose to tail, might be able to prevail here. But boy, it's making me nervous as I see Ryan wiggling the 3 in the middle.
It's one of those things, Kevin, especially here in the iRacing service. You can definitely do 3 wide. You got to be comfortable with your car, yourself, who you're working with, and who you're working against, because you can really, you can essentially control what you're doing behind the steering wheel, but everything else is completely unknown. You don't know what the drivers on the inside and the outside, or even behind or in front of you, are going to do. So it definitely takes a lot to make it happen, but these guys are making it look easy. 3 wide for at least 3 rows here at Daytona.
You got to give a call to the 08 of O'Leary. He's running in that second spot inside lane. He started in the 11th position. He was 4th last time they went across the stripe, and he's looking pretty good there right behind your leader.
See the outside line starting to fade just a little bit. Parker's up there, O'Rourke's up there, and a couple of other drivers in that middle lane trying to sniff up, see if they can maybe go up there and work. But it doesn't seem like it. Everybody wants to be in the inside of the middle line. That's going to give a little bit of hardship there to Parker and O'Rourke, as they're going to slip back slowly without any extra help up there on the outside line.
That front pack is about 15, 16 cars deep. You have to go back to the 20th car, Mitchell Hunt in the 77. Mitchell was somewhere up in the middle of that. I think he dropped out and came back here. Maybe he didn't like what he saw. He's 2 or 3 car lengths off. He could drive back up into that pack if he wants, but yeah, they're pretty racy up there for this early into the race.
Yeah, you can see a couple of drivers: Glenn Campbell, Chad Cole, Richard Beasley, the Chad Cole machine, Rich Jett. A lot of those guys and the guys behind them are all single file. They're just kind of biding their time right now. They know it's still early. A couple of pit stops still to make it here, because we don't run 100% fuel here in this particular series. They know that they're getting racy up front. They've been racy. They're 3 wide. They're still 3 wide, which is pretty amazing to see. Great driving there from Josh Parker, who's actually going to challenge for the lead. Big push from the number 41 of EJ O'Rourke coming out of turn number 4. You may very well be able to give this lap to the 23 machine.
Yeah, Macklin was on the bottom. He pushed up a little bit. Now he's in the center lane. He's got Tommy Ryan down underneath him in Northern Tools, number 99. And they're side-by-side, door-to-door, going through the corners. The top lane drives back a little bit. O'Leary giving the nod to Ryan, pushing him forward a little bit. But, yeah, Macklin was down on that yellow line. Up he went, and he's going to pay the price, as the 99 of Ryan is going to lead that lap.
Everybody on those bottom 2 lines closing up just a little bit, and that's going to give the advantage to those 2 lines, especially the bottom line. You see Parker and O'Rourke sliding back to about the 10th car in a line there. So still very, very fast cars. There's just no help in the outside line this early on.
Aaron Smith the second, that bright yellow number 70 car, the Camaro, sitting in the middle lane, just about 5 or 6 cars back. He came all the way through the pack from the 26th position, and he's got right behind him Ralph Vandervorst in the 68, who started 25th. So those 2 drivers probably have come the farthest to get up in the mix for this front pack.
Absolutely. And this early on, Kevin, these guys are really just trying to hold on, get through the pit stops, get through the racing, because at this point in time, we've seen it. We saw the very first race. Rowdy Wesley Hogue was running about 25th on the last lap. A big, massive, huge wreck happened coming to the checkered, and he ended up 4th. And so far, he's the only driver with 2 top 5s. Finished 4th in the first race, 3rd last week. And currently, we'll check in right now. He's in this pack. You can see him right there on your screen. Looks like he's in that number 20 Oreo machine. Little Dale Earnhardt Jr. throwback from the Xfinity Series, I want to say.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it continues to be, you see up front that bright green car, just holding on to that outside lane with EJ O'Rourke. They've not been able to move forward. I would have thought that those two would have broken through at some point, but they come forward and then they end up slipping back, and now O'Rourke just abandoned that slot and came down to the middle finally.
You know, Kevin, you picked up on exactly what I was just going to mention, and you can see the 23 car looks like he's either dropping to the back because he's needing a time to reset, or he just doesn't have the help, or there may very well be something wrong with that machine as quickly as he's dropping back. But you were able to see the 23 and O'Rourke working together. They kind of go up towards the front, drop back. It almost seemed like they were trying to figure out just what it was going to take, how long it was going to take to get from the back of the pack to the front. But I don't know, we're looking at that 23 machine. He's really dropping back like a rock at this point, and doesn't even look like he's trying to fall back in line. So wondering what's going on for the number 23 of Josh Parker. There you see dips in behind Mitchell Hunt and in front of Richard Beasley. So maybe very, very well just went back to pick up some old buddies. Those guys have raced together in a couple of different leagues as well. So I don't know, we'll see what happens with the 23 Interstate Batteries machine of Josh Parker later on tonight.
Yeah, he had a tense moment over there as he made a little contact brush that left front against the car, maybe even went up and tapped the wall. No damage apparent when he went by this time, but it also could be that he's getting himself ready to pit and see if he's getting some sort of pit strategy and wanted to get out of it. The other thing is, I'll tell you, the fatigue of holding that car in that third lane up on the top, making sure that the guy underneath you gives you space and whatever. After a while, your concentration says, I need a break from this, and you just ease out and roll back to the back of the pack.
Oh, for sure. You're on a sim racing, a simulator, a video game as it were, but it's still, you're still hooked up to a computer, you're still hooked up to a wheel and pedals and everything like that, and you're pretty much driving your computer desk, which is, well, it's one of those things where you really have to be there to enjoy it. But you can see this front pack is motoring right along. They're actually coming up to the tail end of another pack, getting ready to put about 4, 5, 6 cars a lap down here, Kevin.
Yeah, that is going to be an interesting challenge as we see a bunch of those cars out in the back. Raymond Rittenauer, Gabe Butler, Travis Turnmeyer, they went to pit road, and a couple of these cars have done their first pit stop. You have to wonder if any of this lead pack will pit anytime soon, but yeah, always tenuous when you catch a bunch of cars that are off the pace.
Yeah, there's some fast cars. We see the 55 machine there. He barely made it into the race with a damaged car there in the heat race, but you saw Jarrett Bolliard was in that pack, and Jonathan Gogue in there as well. So a couple of really fast cars going a lap down. I'm taking a look at timing and scoring. I don't believe those drivers have made a pit stop yet, so I'm wondering what's going on with the fast cars towards the back.
I saw the 62 brush the wall over there as everybody was trying to ease by, but so far everybody's clean and green. We continue to head into turn 1 with the pack still running 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, all the way back through about 15th, 17th position.
Coming up just past a quarter of the way through the race, lap number 16 of 60. The scheduled distance here to go for the Angry Tree Guy, 150. Tommy Ryan still up front where he qualified. You see getting a big push there from the number 26. Thomas O'Leary is running second. The 26, there you go. Jose Gonzalez, Daniel Falkingham, and it's tough to keep up with these guys because they keep crossing the line on a different thing. Bobby Wetzel and Brian Macklin, your top 6 or so. EJ O'Rourke still running 7th. Randy Yoakum running 8th. Jeff Ryan running 9th, and Kevin Brown rounding out the top 10 so far. Don't put too much money on that because we're 3x3 pretty much all the way back to Josh Parker on the outside, who's trying to make his way back up to the pack. Contact up front. Looks like somebody blew a motor middle of the pack. That's not good news. They blew a motor. Everybody trying to check up. There you see the 34 car is around. That was a sketchy situation. You could see the smoke pop, and unfortunately being in the middle of the pack like that in the middle of 3 wide, nowhere for that driver to go, unfortunately. So we got a couple of guys out in the wall. That's gonna ruin a couple of nights there, Kevin.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if at the moment it was gonna happen, it was just inevitable that something was gonna come through, and it looks like maybe one of the cars got tagged in the back, turned sideways, and I want to talk about a couple of those drivers in the evasive action, but let's take a look at what happened there in the middle of that pack.
Yeah, we're going to pull it up. We can't quite tell exactly which car it was that blew up, but we'll pull it up in the instant replay from the spotter stand. There you can see it looks like it's the 26 car that's dropping way back like that. So we'll back that up one more time, and you can see nowhere for him to go. There was the 39 on the inside of Falkingham and Macklin on the outside of the in the 30 car, and he just backs all the way up. And it's an unfortunate thing because you can see Yoakum was trying to get out of the way, but there was just nowhere for him to go. And we'll pull this up, see if we can get another quick little angle here. It's going to be Jose Gonzalez there on the 26 machine. And man, oh man, just tough break, because that's not somewhere you want to be, because it's gonna really irritate a lot of the guys as well when that happens. We'll take one more quick look here from the onboard, and we'll just listen. You can see as he's pushing here, pushing in the inside line, right behind 99 of the Tommy Ryan. Right around 8,100 RPMs or so.
I almost wonder if he had a little contact with the car inside of him.
It looks like he might have had a little bit of contact, but there you can see just falls all the way back. Definitely a blown motor scenario for Gonzalez. And man, does a great job getting it down in the bottom of the track. And there you see it gives out completely. So, man, that's tough, especially when you're running up in the front five.
Yeah. He did a good job not losing the car when it was coming down, but, you know, I was watching a couple of those cars. Everybody, you know, fortunately for Daytona, they have paved that backstretch, as we see a lot of cars coming in, taking 4 tires, their first opportunity for service. But I watched Jonathan Goat go down into that inside lane, and then he got to the point where he got to grass, and he had no way. He locked the car up and was driving gingerly across the grass, because you could jump them, some of the culverts and whatever back there. And then he got on the chicane on the backstretch, got back to pavement, drove back up, no damage to that number 24 Pepsi, and really heads up driving by him to keep himself out of trouble over there.
Yeah, for sure. And we see that a lot out of Jonathan Goke. He's been around a long time with these super speedways, been around with Vidane as well. And just taking a look at the timing and scoring right now, it looks like everybody has at least come down to make a pit stop. Appears to be the number 39 machine has won the race off of pit road. You see him, he's up front currently. And everybody's come down for at least 2 tires. Just kind of looking, it seems like everybody took... everybody in the top 9 or 10, it looks like, took 2 tires. Chad Coleman, the first driver to take 4 tires, is going to be running P10. So lots of different strategies here at Daytona. A lot of guys looking to make sure they got enough fuel to make it to the next pit stop. We found out last week that the fuel window is about 25 to 30 laps here, because we don't run the full fuel tank. So that's pretty exciting here. But I want to take a quick opportunity here to see if we can't... maybe dial up one of the drivers here in the field here tonight. He keeps telling me to interview him under green, but I really don't want to do that. But we'll see how his race is going. Jonathan Goke, you get a copy, brother.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Sounds like we're having a little bit more fun than you are. What happened there?
I started 38th and somebody missed a shift, and I didn't even make it to the start-finish line. But luckily, I got the lucky dog there, so we're just going to truck on for the rest of the race.
Seeing you come off on and off pit road, and looks... So far, it's been a pretty clean race up front. You got anything for these guys later on?
Probably not. I'm about 5 mile an hour off the pace. I still got some damage to fix, so we'll see what happens. I'll just kind of hang out there, see what happens.
Roger that. Well, good luck later on. Hopefully, we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, see you, man.
That's Jonathan Goke there, the number 24, longtime driver here at Vidane Racing, and good friend of ours as well. So looks like a couple drivers back down on pit road again, either topping off on fuel, maybe grabbing the other side of the race car tires. But the lights are off. Tommy Ryan, Brian Macklin going to be bringing us down to the start here once that pace car dips off, Kevin.
Yeah, now the drivers get to get a collective breath. We know that that first caution is always something they both loathe and love, because everybody gets to loosen the grip on the wheel, wiggle their ankles around a little bit, take a deep breath, see what's going on, chat with their friends, talk a little strategy. But all that's going to come to an end here as the pace car is going to turn left. And as we reset the field, it takes a while for these cars to come up through the gears. but it's going to be Daniel Falkingham, Tommy Ryan, Ryan Macklin, E.J. O'Rourke, and Thomas O'Leary, your top 5 for the restart as the green flag is out and they roll through the gears coming up. It takes them till about, what, mid-straightaway on the backstretch to get to 4th gear and have the car full song.
A little bit of a tire spin moment there from number 41 of E.J. O'Rourke, who's running back up front, but it looks like he gathered it back up, and great pushing there on the number 99 of Tommy Ryan. So they're a single file, 2x2 through the rest of the field. There you see that green machine, Josh Parker. He's in the outside mid-pack. Definitely keep an eye on him, as these guys are pretty much in different positions before the pit stops. It's going to jumble everybody up, especially the drivers that came down for a little bit of top off on fuel, trying to get a little bit of advantage. They definitely paid attention during that first race where Chad Coleman almost won it on fuel mileage if we didn't have that second green-white checkered.
Yeah, they're making me nervous over there. I see the one car. What color is it? Blue and black. It's possibly the 87 machine of Keith Haney wiggling back and forth. I think Keith's battling for that lucky dog spot. Now it's James Haney that is battling for it. But yeah, they're now 3 wide again. Guess who's out there? It's Josh Parker in the number 23.
Running up top, almost glued to the outside line. Looks like he's got a little bit of help there with the car right behind him. That's going to be the 93 machine of Kevin Brown that's up there on the back bumper of Josh Parker, and already moved himself up a couple of spots. And you can see it's one of those things, Kevin, if there's only 2 cars that are kind of working together, you don't really have to worry about any kind of big checkup. And you can see that happen here as the middle line kind of moved up just a little bit because the low line moved up just a little bit. Everybody had to kind of back up just a little bit off the throttle, lose a little bit of momentum, and that's where you see Josh Parker start to shoot up on the outside line because he doesn't have to get off that throttle. He's got all the room in front of him, and he doesn't have to worry about too many cars behind him. So a lot of times it'll work in your favor, but it's tough to really call here. It looks like we got another car down low on the apron. Everybody gets by, no harm, no foul, so good news there.
Yeah, good news for the field, bad news for Jeff Ryan. Jeff Ryan just not having the night he wants, and that number 3 car off the pace, couple laps down. And yeah, we said it before, yin and yang, Kevin Brown and Josh Parker, the 2 of them work really well together. They complete each other's sentences, and I think that they're going to be a formidable force. I think right now Josh is just kind of feeling out that outside lane. And the other thing about it is if trouble occurs, possibly he could shoot the gap on the outside and get through, but now they're going to make a liar out of me and come back down into that middle lane.
Still early on, closing in on halfway, lap 24 of 60 here in the Angry Tree Guy 150 at Daytona International Speedway. Brian Macklin up front, side by side with E.J. O'Rourke. O'Rourke's got help from the 99. Macklin's got help from the number 08 of Thomas O'Leary. So a lot of front runners still up front, and there you can see him moving back up into your screen slowly but surely as Josh Parker on the outside line. He really wants to try and make that work, and you can see he's almost doing it by himself as the 9 car jumps in front of him. Bobby Wetzel going to see if he can get a little bit of a push from that Josh Parker machine.
33 cars running in that top pack, all right nose to tail as they go through, banking one more time. And yeah, now Kevin Brown has dropped off and Josh Parker has found a new dancing partner. He's up there trying to push the number 9 Wetzel through. And inside of him, Keith Haney is working with the 08 of O'Leary. O'Leary's having a good race. He's been up in the top 5 almost the entire event, and so has the 99 of Tommy Ryan. Some of these drivers really suited to this super speedway racing.
Some drivers love it, some drivers hate it, some guys are just here for the paycheck and the TV time. But man, super speedway racing, it's always been near and dear to my heart. Well, because it's the only thing that I'm good at, and well, I'm not even really all that good at it. So a lot of fun to be able to sit back in the production booth. We're always sitting on the edge of our seats here at SIM500 Vidane Racing, especially with the super speedway. You can see the 09, I believe that was, in the wall just a little bit. The 9 in the wall as well. That AC Delco machine, Bobby Wetzel, he's going to be sliding back towards the back of the pack, and that's going to jack up Josh Parker just a little bit as he lost his help on the outside line. Looks like he's lost a little bit of momentum, but these guys are starting to fan out just a little bit, trying to you see Daniel Falkingham, the 39 car. He actually came down the last pit stop there, topped off on fuel, restarted about 20th, and there you can see he's running about 9th on your screen right there.
Yeah, the big wiggle from the 99 earlier. Thought he was going to get tagged by the 41. 41 checked up a little bit. Everybody breathed a sigh of relief over there. As he gathered it up, came back up, and, well, there goes the 41. O'Rourke, he got a good run to the outside, and he got a little bit of a push, and he's able to clear Tommy Ryan, and now he's down on the bottom leading the train.
A little bit of gyro cam action there on board with Brian Macklin, number 30, trying to get that position back on the outside as they thunder on down into turn number 3. You can see right there, 2x2 all the way through the pack. 30's got some help from the 87. That's 81. Check that. Keith Haney right behind him. 87 on your screen. 99 is on the inside, pushing the 41. Going to see who leads it at the stripe this time. Looks like it's going to be Macklin, but yeah, we'll give that lap to Brian Macklin. So going to get the bonus point there for leading the lap. And man, oh man, it's still bumper to bumper. There you see Richard Beasley moving on up to the outside line with the other machine right behind him, giving him a little bit of help. The 77 machine of Mitchell Hunt, and they're working their way up towards the front of the pack on the outside line as well, Kevin.
I'll tell you, we're just about approaching the halfway point, and I'm nervous again. I'm sitting here watching all this go on and just thinking to myself, it can't continue like this. They're wiggling around. I see some cars right down to the door of the car on the inside. And, it's just a matter of time, Paul. They're going to have the big one.
Yeah, for sure. And it's one of those things, a lot of drivers that, with Josh Parker on the outside, he's now got a lot of help from Richard Beasley and Mitchell Hunt, both bumper to bumper behind him, moving all the way up towards the front row there. And those are the 3 drivers that have worked together in the past as well. Back in the ASCORs and all the other leagues that they've run in the past. You can see doing a great job. And they're going to get a little bit of a momentum as they come out of the turn number 4 there. You can see they move up just slightly, but those top 2 cars in the front, the bottom 2 lines, still bumper to bumper. So one of the things we do want to make mention, we didn't have a car blow up mid-pack on the inside there because he was right on the back bumper for so long. So really need to make sure these drivers are giving the cars enough time to breathe just a little bit so they don't get too hot.
Very nervous moment there for Wes Hogue going into turn number 3. The car stepped out. He chased it up the banking. Fortunately, nobody on the outside. For him, he was able to gather that car up, come back down. As you know, he's sporting quite a bit of damage to the back of the Oreo Camaro, and the bumper and the rear spoiler not doing the job, as that car looks like it's a handful going into the corner.
Somebody squished it as Oreos, it looks like. An unfortunate event. Running 17th, but really don't count him out yet. That's usually how Wes gets down. He'll kind of run around in the back, see how everybody else is doing, and it looks like he got caught up in a little bit of something earlier on. We didn't catch it on the camera. We'll have to ask about it after the race, but you'll definitely see him up towards the front later on. He's going to try and get hooked up with somebody. He'll spend the next 20 or so laps just working with different drivers. A little bit of a mishap up top, but it looks like that got squared away. He's going to work with a couple of different drivers here to see who he's comfortable with and really work his way up. But there you see Josh Parker, Richard Beasley dropping back big time as those guys were on the outside. They've kind of dropped back just a little bit. I wonder if maybe they're thinking pit stops here because lap 30, well, not quite in the pit window yet. They may just very well be dropping off.
And you see in the center of that shot, that gold number 7, Tom Casagrande started 37th. If you remember, he had to race his way in through the heat race, and he's made his way up right now to the 13th position, right at the tail end of that big group that's running down. As we see a couple cars every lap get really nervous, and that's making me nervous.
You never know what's going to happen here in the Super Speedway racing, and here you see Kyle Casagrande moving his way up through the field. Pretty exciting to see. Again, the short track racer here on the Super Speedways. All the guys from NEPS and East Coast Winter League that are watching here tonight, and everybody else that's watching here in the social media land. Be sure to check us out on the Facebook, the YouTube, the Twitch, the Twitter, all that good stuff at Vidane TV. Quick little search. You'll be able to find us and join the conversation with hashtag Vidane TV. Lots of cool stuff coming up here in our weekly racing deal. We've got Tim's Corner Motorsports going to be doing a weekly Oxford Plains Speedway series on Wednesday night. We got the Eastbound series, Eastbound Esports before the NEPS guys this week. A doubleheader on Saturday night. Next Saturday night with the Vidane Super Speedway Series and Tim's Corner Motorsports running a special event. So Lots of action coming up here on Vidane TV, so be sure to follow us on the social media outlets and like I said, join the conversation. Also trying to put together a little New Year's Eve party here because it seems like everybody is pretty much locked in their houses due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But we'll make sure we entertain the masses. We're going to do a little something here on New Year's Eve. Not quite sure what. We might be with you all night long. We might just do a couple of quick little shows, but going to be entertaining to say the least. We're going to do, I know the Neps guys wanted to do a little figure 8 racing, and we might do some UFC fighting, maybe a little bit of wrestling, maybe a little bit of Madden football, and we may very well have some live music as well from the Angry Tree Guy Sports Bar downstairs here from the production trailer. So be sure to tune in to the Facebook page, check out all the details for that, and we will absolutely keep you up to par with the information. But man, still 2x2 up front here. You see Keith Haney holding on to the lead. Brian Macklin on the outside of him, trying to gain it back. E.J. O'Rourke still there. Tommy Ryan still there. Thomas O'Leary, Falkingham, Yoakum, Brown, Weaver, and Wetzel, the top 10 rather. And there you can see Mitchell Hunt, Kyle Casagrande, Chad Coleman, Wes Hogue. Those guys trying to move from 15th on up into the top 10.
I do have to wonder what's going on here as the pack has broken up a little bit. Wondering if people are getting nervous or decided maybe they want to get themselves in position or go back and get their teammates. But those top 10, 11 cars running side by side, but from behind that, it's single file all the way back to, say, the 71. Seeing those two orange cars together, it's hard to pick out which one is which. You got Jim Brooks in the Unical orange car, and you got Gail Brooks in the orange number 71 iRacing flag. And yeah, he's looking at those two going, which one is who?
Very similar looking paint schemes, and this is kind of a tricky point in the race here, Kevin. You'll see a lot of guys kind of split up and maybe try and hook up with their teammates, maybe short pit here a little bit, because we are starting to move in to that fuel window where we can make it on just one more stop. So a lot of these drivers are going to try and pit early, fill the tank up as quickly as they can, and just hope that we don't get a green-white checkered. But I got a feeling, Kevin, we're going to start seeing a lot of guys come down to green flag pit stops within the next 5 laps.
Yeah, we see the Keith Haney machine has made his way to the front first time here tonight as Macklin coming up on the outside with O'Rourke pushing him through. But nice run through the field for that number 81 car. I think it's number 87 on the actual car from my paint scheme, but contact, and we're going to have a crash here as they're coming together. I see the 38 was involved and a couple other cars. Yellow flag on the speedway.
Yep, just trying to pull 3 wide action, and unfortunately didn't really work there. We'll back it up here with a kick-ass beef jerky instant replay. I believe it's only the second or third caution we've had here tonight, Kevin. So pretty clean racing so far. A lot of 3 wide, a lot of 2 wide racing, but we'll pull up the old instant replay, find out what went down, and we're going to look at it from the spotter standpoint, as we've got the spotter cam here, and you can see O'Rourke on the inside, Falkingham and the number 39 right behind him, and the 93 up top. Looks like the 39 loses the back end of the car, gets into Tommy Ryan just a little bit. They straighten it out, but unfortunate for the 40, 99 gets way down low there. So no real big hits throughout this, but tough break for the number 40 machine. He gets spun out, a lot of well, no damage, but he's definitely going to have to come down for tires. And great heads-up driving from everybody mid-pack on back as nobody plowed into the back of the field. So definitely good news there. Tough break for the 40 machine and a couple of guys up front involved in that. But like I said, not any big hits or anything like that. So good news there.
Yeah, that's rather unusual that a car does a pirouette coming up off the corner, and it really comes to the fortune that we were spread out and the pack was able to go left, go right, and be able to miss them. But it's feeding time at the zoo as everybody's heading to pit road.
Yep, taking a look right now. The top everybody is down pit road at this point. looking a lot of damage and busted up race cars. Looks like Jonathan Goke, he's going to stay out. I believe he is a lap down. But as you can see, everybody down here on pit road topping off on fuel. This is going to give them, we're probably going to restart with about 20 laps to go. May very well be the final pit stop of the night. There you can see a couple of drivers already leaving their pit stops. May very well have been fuel only for a lot of these guys up front. Macklin, Brown, Harvey, O'Rourke, Ryan, and some of these drivers just coming into their pit stops as well. So a little bit of a mixed bag here down on pit road. Man, this last 20 laps is going to get exciting, Kevin.
Yeah, just looking at the strategy, if you don't have to take tires, you don't need them, you're going to want that track position at this point. See a couple cars maybe taking the opportunity to fix that damage. I know that a couple of them have bent-in back bumpers and so on, and, you know, now's the time during this caution. But working caution number 2, lap number 37, spin over there. Daniel Funkingham got sideways. The number 40 did a pirouette in the middle of turn 2, but everybody missed him. And we're under caution number 2 here tonight at Daytona.
Great racing so far, and a lot of green flag racing. Couple of cautions, nothing too crazy, but the guy's doing a great job. A lot of 2-wide action, a lot of 3-wide action stuff going on here too. And Brian Macklin still up front, the race leader, with O'Rourke and Brown in tow. So not too much has changed up front, and we're just pretty much waiting for these guys to come off pit road. It looks like everybody's come down at least one time. Macklin, Brown, Haney, O'Rourke, Smith, Beasley, Vortz, Casagrande, Hogue, and Hunt currently the top 10.
You know, wonder what was the deal there with Daniel Falkingham, what made that car get loose. But like we said, the cars have been nervous in traffic, and one of the best in the business getting sideways over there. Rather unusual to see that 39 in a dust up. He usually is able to drive out of them, but yeah, we're looking at Keith Haney. He was leading that race for a little while there. See some damage on the right rear as he went by last time on that Ford Mustang, and not sure what happened, but it looks like he got some damage, maybe on pit road. Hard to say where that came from.
Taking a look, the lights are off on the pace car. Everybody lining up 2 by 2. Looks like the lucky dog at that time was going to be Jonathan Goke, the number 24, back on the lead lap. That's going to put 32 cars on the lead lap. And Kevin, all that means is there's 32 drivers that can still possibly win this race.
Yeah, and you know, there's a couple drivers that we mentioned their name and then they kind of slip back, and now's the time for them to come back through. Lap 40 on the board when we come back to green. That means the last 20 laps you're going to have to try and get that track position. I'm looking at drivers like Mac Zaccardo in that number 60. That Camaro's not too far out of the hunt, running in 12th. The car looks clean, and possibly he'll have something for them as they come through. Right behind him is Rich Jett in car number 36. Rich started 19th. Have not said anything about him, but he's kind of lurking back there and could possibly sneak up here and see if he can get himself a win tonight at Daytona.
Big time start there for Brian Macklin, number 30. Huge push from the number 41 of E.J. O'Rourke right behind him. Going to be able to clear the number 93, it looks like, as they head on down in the 1. Not so much for the both of them. And Macklin going to head down low, and he's going to leave E.J. O'Rourke up top with Richard Beasley doing a great job making his way into the top 5. We saw him mid-pack and back earlier on in this race, raced his way in through the heat race. Did that number 10 ride of Richard Beasley, and shout out to everybody on his Twitch fan watching here with us. Oh, a little bit of a bump there from O'Rourke into the back of the 93, gets him a little bit sideways. They are able to collect it, so that's good news there for the number 93 machine of Kevin Brown.
I thought for sure Brown was going to get chipped there. As O'Rourke got a little bit of run after he had some help with Beasley. You saw the 93 of Brown come down, side draft a little bit, O'Rourke side draft, and now that top line is making a little headway as Brown is out front, but Macklin's on the charge one more time. He's got Haney pushing him through on the bottom. And yeah, Smith looks good there running that inside lane. Here comes the block. He's going to go up, Macklin, cover that inside or outside lane, and yeah, he's going to give it up, stay up there and see if maybe the outside lane's the place to be at this stage of the race.
And you got to wonder, Kevin, did he go up there to block him? Did he go up there to work with him? It's really tough to tell. A lot of these guys, you know, not technically teammates. We don't really do any team deals here just yet, officially. But a lot of these drivers have worked together in other leagues. As I mentioned earlier, we've got 4 or 5 different sending leagues that have a lot of their drivers represented here tonight in the SIM500 Vidane Racing SuperSpeedway Series. So, yeah, a lot of times you're going to be working side by side and bumper to bumper with drivers that you may very well be racing door to door on any of the other Saturday night short tracks that we do.
Haney, Brown, Smith, O'Rourke, Vanderfirst, Beasley, Hogue, Casagrande, Jett, Hunt, Gale Brooks, Matt Zaccardo. They are your top 13. Kevin Freeze, haven't mentioned him. He's running in 14th. They're side by side, 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, all the way through this pack. Nobody giving an inch. It's this point, it's go time. You got to get to that track position. And a lot of drivers at this point, Paul, they're looking to see if they can get out in front. In case the big one happens, it'll be behind them.
Really the safest place to be, but we've seen a lot of accidents happen up front as well. Saw the number 9 car. He's about mid-pack, maybe a little bit further on back. He's in the outside line trying to get something happen there, the Wetzel machine of the number 9. But for the most part, we're pretty much on the low line and the middle line. The low line's the 87 there on your screen. Keith Haney, Brian Macklin leading the outside with big-time help from the 93, the 41, the 10. So these guys are pretty much kind of working together, bumping and seeing just how hard they have to push to get up towards the front. And there you see lurking in the background there, that green machine, the number 23 of Josh Parker, trying to move up to that high line and see if he can get his way back up towards the front of the pack.
Yeah, and the 2 drivers that we talk about often but are now mired in the back, Chad Coleman in that number 38, he's out to the outside trying to find his way forward. Who's he have behind him but Josh Parker? As they're trying to see what they can do to get that outside lane to come forward. When you have 3,800 pounds of race car in front of you and no place to go, you got to go find the lane that's available, and it's unfortunately on the outside for these guys.
And it's funny you mentioned Chad Coleman. I've never talked to a driver after a race more deflated than Chad Coleman after running out of fuel with the second green, white, checkered, the very first race this season, leading most of the race here. And as we came to caution, green, white, checkered, ran out of fuel coming out of turn number 2. And unfortunately, that triggered a very, very big, massive, huge pileup. And we saw one of the biggest wrecks we've ever seen here on Vidane TV. But it was one of those things, you know, Chad Coleman thought he had enough to make it to the end. It looks like we're going to be able to make it to the end here with being able to pit with 20 laps to go. So it's going to be cool to see. Taking the fuel strategy, the tire strategy, all that stuff out of the window here with these Xfinity cars here in the iRacing service. Going to hopefully come down to some green flag finishing, some green flag racing, see who's going to end up on top.
Yeah, remember that race? He pitted later than everybody else by 1 or 2 laps, and he almost eked it out. And unfortunately, the second green, white, checkered did him in. As I see that outside lane, well, guess what? They're starting to come forward. He's gotten himself up to the 8th, 9th position somewhere on the outside, and now I see like Chad Cole in the 17 going to the outside, trying to follow those guys through and lead them as well. Right underneath are the 2 orange cars running side by side.
Starting to move up through the pack, the guys on the outside, some names we've seen before. The 9's up there, the 23's up there, the 38 is up there as well. And man, they're just really waiting for these 2 lines on the bottom to make a little bit of a mistake there. There you see the crumpled up Oreo, the number 20 machine of Wesley Hogue. Current points leader came in with an 8-point advantage over second place last week's winner. And you can see really just kind of biding his time, and that is classic Wesley Hogue. He'll wait towards the last 10, 15, 20 laps or so to make his way up towards the front to make sure that he's still got the car underneath him. But he's got the 8-point lead over Stephen Mariak. I don't believe Stephen's even in the field here tonight. Don't believe we saw him make the field. I'll have to double check on that. But Tony Ride, 3rd place, Wetzel, 4th place, and Charles Johnson, 5th place in the points. Pardon me. It looks like there's actually a tie there. Aaron Smith, Daniel Falkingham for 5th. So be able to really give that a quick little jumble here towards the end of the night.
Yeah, speaking of Falkingham, he and Tommy Ryan, who have been up front all night long, were involved in that incident. Ryan's got damage to the back of his Camaro, but he's tucked onto the back bumper of Daniel Falkingham, and the two of them are clawing, scratching, climbing their way through to see what they can get as yellow out on the speedway out in the back of the pack. Cars coming together as everybody eases out of the throttle and comes to the back straightaway to pick up the pace car.
Looks like the number 62, John Wilco, finds himself down there in the grass. We'll pull up the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky instant replay, find out just what it was that happened. And you can see right now we're going to take a quick little look-ski here and pull up the replay. We'll give it to you as we saw it. And you can see just 29 closes in the 55. There you see the 24 Goke. There's a big wiggle there from one of the orange-blue cars. He shoots on down to the low side. And it looks like Wilco just goes up top. And unfortunately, when he came, tried to rejoin the racing line, spotter must have told him that Goke was not there. I don't know. Was that Goke? It's hard to tell. Back that up one more time because we don't want to start a fight. It doesn't look like it was Goke because I can see the 24 cars in front of him there. The other blue and white machine there. Some contact off of the corner. Can't even really tell what number that is.
Yeah, we'll see if we can figure it out because the car's got no front end at this point. One car jumped, hit that back wheel, did a little bit of a wheelie there. I'm not sure if you saw that, but it's a blue and white car out towards the back. Let's see if I can figure out who that was.
But nonetheless, tough break for these guys in the back of the pack. Gives these guys up front an opportunity, though, to essentially get everything kind of calm down and collect their thoughts just a little bit. And you can see Brian Macklin waiting for the pace car and the rest of the field to come back around here to get that collected. So I don't know how busy pit road's going to be here. Some of the guys towards the back of the pack may very well come down, maybe get just a little bit of a splash of fuel. Everybody down pit road, 10, 11, maybe 12 laps ago. There you see the 9 machine faking out. Looks like everybody's going to stay out. Looks like maybe there's 1 or 2 drivers towards the back, Kevin, that are going to pit here with 10 laps to go in the Angry Tree Guy 150.
Yeah, still not sure on that car, but it could have been Jarrett Bulliard in that number 79 in front of his car. The Mobil 1 car has no front fascia. He's going to bring his car down to pit road right now and get some additional service. Looks like right side tires going on in the number 79, and yeah, that car is just going to try and limp its way to the finish and see if he can get any points. Left side tires going on, pack it full of fuel, and probably try to do some more damage repair, but that car is pretty severely wounded.
Tough break for the defending champion, Jarrett Bulliard. Didn't make it to Stafford Speedway this past year to claim his Rent-A-Racecar rental at Stafford Speedway due to the COVID-19 pandemic. There was just too many dang travel restrictions that we weren't able to work around. But that lines up a pretty special event coming up here in 2021 where here at Vidane TV, we're actually going to try and see if we can't maybe even sponsor the street stock race. Not entirely sure what that's going to entail, so be on the lookout for social media for that. But we're going to be able to set up, with the help of Rent-A-Racecar, a champion versus champion night for Vidane Racing at Stafford Motor Speedway. The 2020 champion, Jarrett Bulliard, is going to be in one of the Rent-A-Racecar street stocks, and the champion from the 2020-2021 SIM500 Vidane Racing SuperSpeedway Champion is going to be in another Rent-A-Racecar street stock. So, gonna be pretty cool. Gonna be some bragging rights on the line. Couple of championship belts are there, and I didn't tell the guys, but the Vidane Racing Championship belts for that night, for the one night only, they're gonna be on the line 24/7. So be sure to check out the Facebook page, the Twitter, and all that good stuff for some entertainment that weekend for sure. And we'll have all the details up on Facebook as well too. We basically want to make it a sim racing night there that particular night at Stafford Motor Speedway. So anybody that watches Vidane TV or follows us or has a favorite driver or has watched us anytime this year since March when we kicked this shindig off, join us at the racetrack. Hang out. We're going to be camping out after the fact and having a good little time, maybe have ourselves some adult beverages. But Kevin, the lights are off in the pace car. Not much has changed out front. Brian Macklin on the inside, Keith Haney on the outside, Brown, Smith, Vorch, O'Rourke, Hunt, Beasley, Coleman, Hogue, and Jet up front. Top 11 or so drivers getting ready to let her rip for the final 8 laps once we cross the line.
Yeah, if there was any give in this race, it's done. It's now take time. All these drivers are going to run as hard as they can. There's just a handful of laps. We have 2 green-white checkers, but at this point, drivers have to assume we're going to run this green through, and they're going to claw and fight, just like Falkingham was earlier, to get to every single position they can and get themselves up in that top 5 coming off turn 4 for the final.
To quote the points leader, Rowdy Wesley Hogue, in one of his promo videos from the last championship season, tick, tock. Tick, tock. Time is running out. We're going to restart with about 8 laps to go. Pace car pulls down the pit road. We wait. We wait. We wait. Brian Macklin brings him down. Green flag in the air. Great start. Gets about a car length on the 87 on the outside, but he's got big-time pushes from the number 70 yellow machine on the outside. Going to be side-by-side, door-to-door, bumper-to-bumper, heading on down to turn number 1.
Big wiggle in the
big rack in the mid-pack.
Crash, and we see the Jet car involved. The 25's going around. The number 38's involved. I see Jonathan Goke again taking a good evasive action. So did Gail Brooks. But, yeah, that was a huge crash going into turn number 1.
Yeah, massive hit for the 38 machine. And I got to tell you, whoever's spotting for Jonathan Goke here this evening, they absolutely deserve a raise because you saw him skate on by there. Down on the low side, no harm, no foul. But going to pull up the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky instant replay here, find out exactly what went down, see if we can't maybe figure it out. And we're going to look at it from the blimp view if we can here. And we're going to focus in the 38. He had a big hit. There you see the 77 gets into the car in front of him, and just a massive hit from Mitchell Hunt there. And 38 as well. He gets tagged by a couple of drivers. And look, there's the Pepsi machine shooting on through. Easy like Sunday morning for Jonathan Goke. Doing a great job driving through all that. And a lot of drivers, kudos to them getting woed up, hitting the brakes. There you see 79, Jarrett Bolliard in the back of that pack as well. Missing the front end of that race car. But a couple of big hits, couple of guys spinning in the wrong direction, pointing in the wrong direction, and we'll see what happens. Looks like going to restart, maybe 4 or 5 laps to go here, Kevin.
You could just see that building coming down the front straightaway. The outside car, the lead car, was Keith Haney. He did not get a good start. When they got to turn 1, the 30 of Macklin, he was already a car out in front of him, and everybody else right tight to the bumpers. The 70 of Aaron Smith, he was moving left, he was moving right. He could not go forward. He was just looking for whatever space. The car right behind him was the 8 or the 68 of Vandervorst. He also was tight, and the 77 just meat in a sandwich. Came up, no place to go, got into the back of the 68. Mitchell Hunt got the car sideways. Coleman, again, no place to go. Everybody full head of steam behind him, and it's just going to turn that 77 around, and then it's mayhem from there.
Definitely a tough break, and it's one of those deals where you really have nowhere to go, unfortunately, but got a quick little opportunity here. Doesn't look like anybody's going to make any kind of pit stops or anything like that. So let's see if we can maybe pull up some booth-to-car communications here. See if we can just dip on down, see who we've got. We're going to pull in... we'll see if we can talk to the number 23 machine. He's been up front, on front towards the middle of the pack as well, trying to get that outside line going. Josh Parker and that Bobby Labonte throwback machine. Josh, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Man, you've been doing a great job on the outside line trying to, we've seen you work with a couple of different drivers outside, but it doesn't seem like there's enough guys that really have the confidence to run up where you've been running. Have you got anything for the last 5 laps here? You got anything planned out? You working with anybody? What's the deal?
Early in the run when I was trying to get the top to work, it was getting a little dicey, so I was trying to drop to the back, and the 9 car ended up getting a little too high and put me in the wall and gave me some damage. So I can't be the lead car, that's for sure. I'm definitely down a little power, so I'm just going to try to stay in the draft, and the last resort is definitely going to get that top line to go, so I don't think I'm going to have enough momentum to clear anyone.
definitely fast earlier on here tonight. We'll kick you back down to the team channel, see if you can't get something to happen here in the last 5 laps. Good luck, Josh.
All right, thanks, guys.
Josh Parker in the number 23 machine. Josh Parker in the number 23 machine, able to really get that car moved into, well, really spots that anybody else can't make it in. Currently running 10th. We'll see what he can do with the top line there.
Yeah, as I look through this field, quite a few cars have picked up their damage, unfortunately, and it looks like, though, the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke, that car looks crystal clean sitting there in that 4th position. I don't know. We're going to make a pick here. I'm going to pick that 41.
Oh, pick time, pick time, pick time. I'm going to, well, it's tough to say. You're going to go with O'Rourke. I'm going to go with Brian Macklin. Macklin seems to be fast wherever he goes. Looks like he's picked up some color on the race car. He's been running a plain black paint scheme here for the past couple of weeks, and everything he's run on SIM500. So I'm going to say Brian Macklin, that number 30 machine, starting on the outside, is going to come home with victory tonight.
Yeah, I hate to jinx him, but looking back there in that 11th position is the 71 of Gail Brooks having a good run. And when we look at the point championship, Wes Hogue and Tommy Ryan, Bobby Wetzel, they're 1st, 3rd, and 4th in the point standings. As you said, Stephen Marinick did not make the call here tonight. So they stand to gain a little bit, but Bobby Wetzel, Tommy Ryan have had their problems tonight. They're out in the back. Right now, looks like a good night so far for Wes Hogue if he can get that car to the finish.
Absolutely, and this is definitely classic, vintage, if you will. Wes Hogue really bides his time the first part of the race, feels the car out, feels the track out, feels the drivers out, sees who he can work with, and kind of works his way up towards the front of the pack towards the end of the race. So definitely look for him. He's got the Josh Parker machine right behind him, and you heard Josh say that he couldn't really be the lead car with the damage that he's got, but the pace car, lights are off, 2x2 all the way through. Pace car is going to make that hard left corner onto pit road. Big time start there from the number 30, Brian Macklin, with a huge push of E.J. O'Rourke. The inside line doesn't even look like they're lined up, so we're going to see if Macklin really holds on to that outside line to see if he's going to pull E.J. O'Rourke up with him or if he's just going to move on down low. Both 1 and 2 drivers clear. They're going to move on down low. There you see Josh Parker in the back of the pack, mid-pack moving down low, trying to get on down low. Here comes the 93 moving on the outside, trying to make something happen with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, terrible start for Brown, and the top 2 cars on the outside lane were able to go up, but now he's making up for it as Beasley gives a good shot to Aaron Smith going in and then jumps out there to that high side. He's going to look to see if he can tuck in with Keith Haney, who's helping Kevin Brown. It is Macklin and my choice, O'Rourke. Yours out front, mine pushing them through as they come down through the trioval one more time. They're going to finish lap number 56, start working lap number 57. Macklin on the outside, Brown, or on the inside, Brown to the outside comes down tight, trying to side draft for O'Rourke, pull him back a little bit, see if that outside lane can get some momentum to the back straightaway.
Little bit of weaving and bobbing on both the high side and the low side from all of these drivers. And don't look now, Rowdy Wesley Hogue, that number 20 machine, he is hooked up. He's got a crinkled back bumper, but he's got the teammate of Jonathan Goke behind him in the 24 machine in that Pepsi ride. Be sure to keep a lookout for those guys. 4 laps to go. Coming to 3 laps to go once they cross the line. Give it to Brian Macklin. That time by... I haven't quite crossed the line yet, but give it to Brian Macklin. That time by 3 laps to go here in the Angry Tree Guy 150.
11 cars are making up that top group. Then there's a little bit gap to the 12th position. They're 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 in formation coming off to the back straightaway. Wes Hogue is the car back there in that 11th spot. Now some of the other drivers are starting to make a run. Rittenauer, he has a good run to the outside. He's got a little bit of help. Wow, look at that 87 coming on that 3rd lane.
There you see Josh Parker moving up to P7 right behind Richard Beasley. Those guys have worked together in the past, raced a lot of different leagues together. Coming to the line, popsicle stick's going to fly. 2 laps to go. Look at the flag man, 2 laps to go. 1, 92. 93 led that last lap. 30 is behind him. You got the 87 up top with a push from Richard Beasley. Josh Parker is there as well. E.J. O'Rourke, third car on the inside. The number 70, Aaron Smith, doing a great job. And there you see Bobby Wetzel, the number 9. He's up there in this fight as well. Rowdy Wesley Hogue towards the back of this pack, pretty much just buying his time, waiting for somebody to make a mistake. He may be underpowered just a little bit with that crumpled up spoiler on the back of that race car, Kevin, but definitely going to try and be here towards the end.
Yeah, it could be. You got 2 cars out in the back of this pack that could be spoilers. The Travis Turnmeyer, number 54, got into the fence. He was pushing Rittenauer before, but now he's back to his back bumper. They jump to the outside. Can they get the run, possibly sniff some of that draft from Beasley, who's out there? They're 3 wide for second position with Beasley slipping back a little bit, and it continues to be Macklin, and now Brown is able to clean that outside lane. He jumped down in front of Macklin. Everybody's wiggling. Macklin not content to sit there. He's going to the middle lane. Here comes a big push by Josh Parker. Parker jumps a wheel, but he's able to keep it going, and he's going to fall back a little bit. That's going to allow Brown to push forward with O'Rourke on his back bumper.
Great heads-up driving from the guys in this pack. You saw Richard Beasley lose just a little bit of time. Rowdy Wesley Hogan invades some maneuver heading on down low, but they're coming to the stripe this time. You're going to be too close to call. 3 wide for the finish. Holy cow. Give it to number 93, Kevin Brown. No, check that. Timing and scoring says it's Kevin or E.J. O'Rourke. So we're actually going to back that up just a quick little bit here and see if we can take a quick little look at the line. There you see.
I think Brown lost it dropping to the apron there.
He may very well have, and it wasn't even because of a penalty. It looks like he just lost the momentum on that. We're going to take a look. We got a great view there. There you see the spotter stand. See if we can change the camera angle again here. Maybe we'll switch it. There we go. The blimp view. That is a good view right there. Is we're gonna back that up. We're gonna give you the finish in super slow motion. O'Rourke on the outside, Macklin on the inside. The number 93 gets a little bit of a push, and there you see it. E.J. O'Rourke with the victory. First time he's gonna win here in the Vidane Super Speedway Series SIM500 mashup. So crazy finish here for the Angry Tree Guy 150 here at Daytona, Kevin.
I have to look back at the number 30, came from the outside lane, tried to cut the middle, wiggled a little bit, and I think that pushed Brown down off, but I still believe that 41 was going to get him. As a good run for Josh Parker, able to get up there to the top 5, and yeah, what a great finish for these guys. As well, look at that. E.J. O'Rourke burning them down there on the front straightaway and writing his signature on the tri-oval.
Writing his name all over the front side of this racetrack, and Brian Macklin finishes second with Kevin Brown finishing third. You made mention Josh Parker. He comes home 4th place tonight. Aaron Smith 5th. Bobby Wetzel 6th. Ralph Vandervoorts, he finishes 7th. Keith Haney finishes 8th. Gail Brooks 9th. And Richard Beasley matches his car number, finishing number 10.
Yeah, Wes Hogue finished 11th, your point leader. He had a good night, got to the finish line. Maybe Wetzel got a little bit on him. Wetzel was 11 points back, so he's going to gain a little, cut that in half. Maybe he's going to be 3rd or 4th, depending on where Tommy Ryan ended up. Ryan ended up at 21st on our scoring sheet, so I think possibly Wetzel will come into number 2 in the point championship, but out front, what a great race tonight for, it's records or checkers sometimes for E.J. O'Rourke, but did a great job on that final lap to set himself up. We talked about it, Paul. You have to get somewhere near that top 5, and then when the lane opens, you got to run it through. And, wow, what a close finish is. O'Rourke, he was upside down cartwheeling in the last finish, but tonight he got the checkered flag.
Absolutely, from upside down the last time we saw him here at the SIM500 Vidane Super Speedway Series to finishing P1 and a very exciting 3-wide finish after 60 laps at Daytona International Speedway. Talking to the winner right now, E.J. O'Rourke. Congratulations, man. Great race.
Oh, Paul, thank you. That was a nail biter the entire time. I was up top of 3 and working the lead back to 20th. It was crazy. That race was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun to watch, too. A lot of 2x2, 3x3 racing throughout the entire pack. And a couple of guys with a little bit of a wiggle, but nothing too crazy serious. I mean, you get that in big-time super speedway racing. But, man, walk us through your race. We saw you up front towards the front. You did a little bit of work with Macklin, and you worked with a couple of other guys up there as well. But all in all, you came home first, and that's what matters. Walk us through your race.
Yeah, I started. I actually made the race this week. Unfortunately, last week we DNQ'd. Or 2 weeks ago. So we made the race. We started 17th. We made it top of 3 early and got up to the top 2 or 3. And we pretty much just kept fighting for the lead the whole race. But this Trans-Service Chevrolet was real fast. And, I was all with Macklin to the race. If I couldn't win, I wanted to try to help him win. But when Macklin and Kevin kind of got together there on the backstretch, it got Brian jumbled up, and I was able to jump up. And he's my teammate. So he helped me when he could, which is really cool.
Good deal. You made mention Trans-Service on the quarter panel of that race car. Who else makes it happen here for the number 41 machine of EJ O'Rourke?
I was going to thank Glenn for sponsoring me this year, Trans-Service. For him to do that was pretty cool. Got a handful of wins with him this year. Gary Mercer Trucking, Papa's Hardware. I got to thank you guys, Vidane and SIM500, Joey, everybody, you, Paul, and Wes Hogue, everyone that put this together. I think this is my first Vidane win, so it's pretty cool because it's an elite crowd up here, and to do it, it's pretty special.
Yeah, we talked about that, Kevin and I, back and forth. A lot of different sending leagues, sending the best of the best, and Vidane Racing and SIM500 really holding holding a different definition of the best, especially when it comes to super speedway racing. So 3 races here, third a different winner. EJ O'Rourke, watching him slowly burn down the front stretch grass here, pissing off all the landscapers here at the Daytona International Speedway, but definitely well-deserved. Great race here, EJ.
Thank you very much, Paul. I appreciate everything you guys do. It's always a pleasure to race here.
Absolutely. We will see you next week. And Kevin, I believe you've caught up with the P2 driver, Brian Macklin. Looks like he's got a little bit of color in that race car this week. Might have picked up a sponsor.
Yeah, American Lung Association on the car and a couple other sponsors. Brian, well, so close. What a great run here tonight. Take us through your finish.
Yeah, it was a fun race. I love running on the speedways, and this is my first race in this series, so that was really cool. Just when you're racing here, the biggest thing that you can do to put yourself in a position to win is to try to control the race. And I went to the front early and just knew that if I could stay up there, and then once my teammate got up there, it made it even better. But we were able to control the race and lead a lot of laps, and it didn't work out on the last lap, but that's how it works sometimes. Either way, I still had a blast.
You take us through that final lap. You were tucked in behind Brown, but you weren't going to win there. You had to come up to the middle. And then as you race through, a little bit of a wiggle right there at the end, trying to get back down, shoot the gap. Was the timing right, or was it just nothing you could do there?
Well, when I jumped to the middle, it was either jump to the middle or the motor was going to expire because I had both gauges blinking when I was pushing Kevin. And I wasn't going to stop pushing because it was the last lap, and you want to do everything you can. But I knew that I couldn't go much further. I had been blinking for almost a half a lap at that point, and it wasn't going to go much further. So I forced myself up to the middle, and we were going down the backstretch, and it looked like the 81 and the 23 tangled a little bit, and it killed the momentum for us on the outside line. And it ultimately put me in a position where I wasn't really in a position to win the race. At that point, it was about just trying to help my teammate. I think the timing was right, jumping up like I did. If the 2 guys on my outside didn't get tangled up, I think I probably could have come away with the win. But, that's speedway racing. You come here, you have a good time, and you try to put yourself in the right position at the right time, but sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, I don't know that we would have guessed O'Rourke sitting back there at about 4th or 5th on the inside would have been able to make that run to the outside and get himself the victory, but you were so close. As always, exciting to watch you run here, and really enjoyed that race. Who do you want to say hello to for the close here?
I got to thank you guys for putting together this series and this broadcast. This is awesome what you guys are doing for us, and all the partners that are involved in it. That's really cool. I want to say congrats to my teammate for winning the race. If I had to finish second, I'm glad it was to a teammate, not to somebody else. So I'm glad it worked out that way. Got to thank the American Lung Association. They've been a very important part of my life for the last couple of years, and it's cool to give them another good run. And got to thank all the admins at SIM500 for putting together yet another amazing series that we can come in and just have a good time and know that we're going to be racing with some really competitive people. It's nice jumping on here knowing that you're going to be running with 15 to 20 really solid drivers that you can trust to race as hard and as aggressive as we did tonight, and know that for the most part it's not going to end up as a big pileup.
There you go. Teammates end up 1-2. Brian Macklin brought his Toyota home just short of the win here tonight at Daytona, and he's going to go celebrate with his teammates as we turn to Paul Strickland, who's caught up with our third place finisher, Kevin Brown, in the number 93.
Absolutely great run for the number 93. He led with about a lap to go, but unfortunately wasn't able to hang on, but still strong podium finish, P3 for Kevin Brown, the number 93 machine. Walk us through your race, Kevin. Congratulations.
Thanks, appreciate it. Definitely was a crazy race there, especially at the end. I was pretty sure I was going to have it coming to 3, and then I noticed that EJ and Macklin, them being teammates, they got back together, and I tried to block the run, but I figured he was going to cut under me, so I said, you know what, I'll take a P3 instead of wrecking everybody.
Absolutely. We saw you up in the top 5-10 of the race, pretty much the entire race long, and we're looking at the actual finish right here. A little bit of a bump from the back that kind of kicked you down low and put you in that third position, but man, great racing up towards the front of the pack here throughout the evening, and definitely some heads-up driving there. Just what was it like racing to the line three wide coming to the finish?
It definitely was insane. My spotter on the backstretch yelled 3 wide, and we were 3 wide for a second, and we were 2, and then I don't know what happened. I knew there was a guy on our outside. I don't know. I have to go look at it, but I thought we were just gonna be 3 wide through turn 3 and all the way to the line. But it's crazy that it ended up at the line almost halfway sideways. So.
Pretty crazy race here for the Angry Tree Guy 150, and man, oh man, you know, he restarted with up in that front position, came home P3, so definitely a solid points night here tonight. Who makes it happen here for the number 93 Kevin Brown machine?
You know, I'd just like to thank the guys at Brown Eyed Racing, Chris Caboo for always painting my wonderful paint schemes, looking amazing, and yeah, you guys putting on the show, and SIM500, appreciate it.
Yeah, we saw you the hashtag in the back of the car there, KB. Was it KB Gaming over on Twitch, or is that just something on Facebook? What do we got going on there?
Yeah, it's KB Gaming _ on Twitch. I stream all these races, so feel free to check me out.
Absolutely, and a lot of our drivers stream on Twitch. We're going to try and get a little bit more involvement on that on our end, see if we can't maybe get some more Twitch streams up in the broadcast. But Kevin, great run here tonight, P3 here in the third race of the season. Congratulations. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
So, Kevin, that's going to wrap it up here. Pretty fantastic race here all the way through. Good, clean racing. 2x3. We're seeing the last lap or so kind of replay on your screen right now. Man, it's pretty intense racing here, some super speedway racing. Just kind of taking a look right now, seeing if the points have been updated, but not quite yet. We're still waiting on the SIM500 race officials to make the official call with that. So a lot of times they're able to really get that pushed out before the race goes off air, but unfortunately it doesn't look like we're going to have a points update this evening. We'll give it one last refresh and not quite there. So what we'll have...
I always love, Paul, to see these guys race their guts out at the end. And, you know, we did not see a green-white checker, and yeah, they were nose to tail, bumper to bumper, door to door, side to side, baiting and banging all the way to the finish. And yeah, you see the 93 going sideways across that start to pick up the third. And yeah, you just have to love this kind of racing. Really enjoyed it.
Oh, for sure. And it's, I mean, you're taking a look at that 3 wide right now. They were 3 wide on the back stretch. Josh Parker did a great job finishing in that 4th position, trying to push Macklin up to the victory, but just not enough power to get around the E.J. O'Rourke machine.
You would not think the 41 could do it from where he is sitting there, right?
Right, absolutely. And just super speedway racing, man. It's not over until it's over, and even when it's over, it might not be over. So we'll take one more look at the points. You can see there's where Rowdy Wesley Hogue dipped on down low because he thought they were going to wreck, but they were able to hold on to it. So great race for Hogue. It looks like he is going to be able to hold on to the point standings. As we made mention, last week's winner, Stephen Mariak, didn't show, and Wes was able to finish in front of Tommy Ryan and Bobby Wetzel. So it looks like Hogue is going to be able to hold on to the point scheme. It's definitely going to tighten up just a bit, so be sure to check out the Vidane TV Facebook page. We'll update you as soon as we get an update ourselves here on the point standings. But man, Kevin, I think that's going to do it here tonight. It's 12:30 in the morning here on the East Coast. You're there in Jersey. I'm in Connecticut, so we're in the same time zone, I believe. But man, final thoughts. Good race here tonight, yeah?
Yeah, enjoyed it. I'm just amazed at the skill. You see these cars; they're a handful. It looks easy when you're watching it from the cameras that we show, but when you're in the car and you're running up on someone and you're just trying to keep the car headed in the right direction, it's a tough row to hoe. And these guys, they just show their skill every single lap.
Absolutely, and just great racing here from the Vidane's, the SIM500 Vidane Racing Super Speedway Series, and just want to give a shout out again to Pro-Am Belts. We really don't give them enough credit for the absolute quality that they put into the championship belts here, and we've got a couple of videos and pictures on the Facebook page that kind of shows just how good the quality is on this championship belt, but we definitely want to make sure that people understand that this is a pretty high quality belt here too. So going to take a quick look here what's on tap at the upcoming events here at Vidane TV. Tomorrow night we rejoin the East Coast Winter League Pro Series running at Loudon tomorrow night. I believe the start time is 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time for that. This guy right here hopefully remembers to start in the light series that starts at 6:30, not 6 o'clock, or starts at 6 o'clock, not 6:30, as I've missed the last two races due to scheduling conflicts, but had a couple of top tens myself, so pretty cool to have that, and we'll see what happens there. I know Josh Parker's been pretty much running away with the points championship there, doing a pretty good job there. But Tuesday, check that Wednesday night, Tim's Corner Motorsports comes back for race number 2, the Oxford Plains Weekly Series, 7:30 Eastern start time for that. And next Thursday, a little bit of doubleheader action. Eastbound Esports back for race number 2 in their brand new series. Mike James from The Rock hooking those guys up. That's going to be a 6:30 p.m. Eastern start time. Right after that, we're going to jump right into NEPS with the O'Quinn 75. Start time 8:15. And then again, 1 week from tonight, we made mention of it earlier, Tim's Corner Motorsports SuperSpeedway special event. Starting right before. We don't have a start time yet, so be sure to check out the Facebook page for that. But that's going to definitely be an exciting race as well, because they're going to be doing it right before the SIM500 Vidane Super Speedway Series race. We're going to be running the Cup cars with no restrictor plates at Talladega next week, so be sure to check out some action next week. And my thoughts exactly, that's going to absolutely be...
They'll be flying.
Yeah, they'll be flat flying here at on Vidane TV. But man, that's going to wrap us up here, Kevin. Looks like everything's done. The bills are all paid. Everything's pretty much wrapped up. So we're going to grab a couple of adult ice-cold beverages here in the production trailer and kind of hang out just a little bit. Want to thank you guys for welcoming us into your home. Thank you for watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all that good stuff. Be sure to give us a like and follow, and tell your friends you just watched some awesome racing action here on #Vidane TV. And be sure to take a look at Facebook this week. We're still working on that New Year's Eve special that we may or may not be putting together. We had mentioned earlier on tonight the NEPS guys are wanting to do a figure 8 race, and we're talking about doing some wrestling, some UFC fighting, maybe some Madden football, and maybe some live music here too. We're talking to a couple of performers that we know that we might be able to put a little bit of entertainment, because with this whole COVID-19 pandemic, there's not really anywhere to go out and party on New Year's Eve, so why not come out here and party with your friends here at Vidane TV? So we can assure you the cooler's going to be full and they're going to be ice cold. But that's going to do it here for tonight for us at Vidane TV. Thank you so much. Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. alongside Kevin England here in the broadcast booth. We thank you guys so much here. SIM500, Vidane Racing, everybody involved, all of our partners. Thank you guys so much for welcoming us into your homes here this evening. We'll catch you tomorrow night for the East Coast Winter League Pro Series live from Loudon Super Speedway. Catch you then. Catch you on the flip side. Have a great night. Thanks for coming out.